Global Golf's annual holiday shopping event, Friday, December 14th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Shop great deals on the year's hottest clubs from TaylorMade, Callaway, and Ping. Plus, get a free gift with any pre-owned purchase of $200 or more. Global Golf is home of the best deals in golf, so don't miss our annual holiday shopping event, Friday, December 14th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Global Golf, located in North Raleigh, 7320 ACC Boulevard.
The Pack family knows Sammy's Tap and Grill is your one-stop shop for brews and bites, serving up good times for almost 25 years. Sammy's has over 40 beers on tap, so you're guaranteed to find your perfect pint. And house-made food that's touchdown-worthy. For the game, Sammy's got you covered with over 60 TVs. Plus, you can bring your own mascot. Sammy's is pet-friendly. Come find your people at Sammy's Tap and Grill on Avon Ferry near campus. Great beer, delicious food, TVs galore, furry friends welcome. Visit Sammy'sTapGrill.com for daily specials and beer lists.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's Window Nation's end-of-the-year sale. Get 50% off all styles of windows and a bonus 10% off. Plus, you could get 0 interest for 6 years. Sale ends December 31st, so book a quote at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies and warm this afternoon with a high of 70 degrees. There could be some scattered light rain, but overnight tonight, the rain really starts to pick up in intensity. It'll be warm with a low of 60. For tomorrow, a front comes through. We have a WRAL weather alert day tomorrow. When the front comes through, we'll end up with some strong winds that could produce damage as well as some heavy rain. We'll see a high of 67.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down a half a point to 44,401.
From my vantage point, the talks with North Carolina are real. I understand he met with them yesterday for 5 hours. I don't think you spend 5 hours after days of discussions with a university if there's not something to it. Now, whether or not North Carolina can put together a package that's attractive and compelling enough for Bill, whether that's ultimately what he decides to do, we'll see.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Is the ball in whose court? That's what we need to know. Where's the ball? On which court does it exist? I'm Tim Donnelly, The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show.
Where's the possession arrow?
we need a review. We need the replay assist. Is the ball in Bill Belichick's court or is the ball in UNC's court? UNC is going through the most important hire in their athletic program's history. I'm not just saying that now. I said it a couple weeks ago. Basically, as soon as Mac Brown was fired, I said, ooh, this one's important. It doesn't appear as if anyone is ready to handle that level of a hire right now. We are hearing reports from The Guardian, Ollie Connolly of The Guardian, that says the ball is in UNC's court, meaning Bill Belichick has issued his what's longer than a list? 400 pages of laid out, planned, and financial demands that he has given to UNC.
Manifesto at that point?
Manifesto, CVS receipt, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The report from The Guardian is that Bill Belichick has given that to UNC and said, I will accept under these conditions. The ball is in your court. There are some reports from Diana Rossini, from Jonathan Jones, some names we recognize a bit more that say UNC has made their offer to Bill Belichick, and the ball is in his court. Wherever the ball in the court, in the replay, the inbounds, the out of bounds, it's getting close. Or at least it's still a possibility. And do you know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about this. I don't know if anyone can say yes. There's a report on The Athletic. Again, reporting done many different places. There's a report on The Athletic. Brennan Marks and Ralph Russo on the byline. I don't know if there's someone within UNC that could say deal.
Yeah, who's the final decision maker?
You ever been in that situation? You're like interviewing for a job. You're in a room with 4 people and they're grilling you and you realize about halfway through, I don't think any of you can say, you've got the job, here's the offer. So now I'm just talking to people that have to go talk to somebody, that has to go talk to somebody, then I'm going to have to go talk to somebody else. And you're like, we're not that close, are we? The Athletic article illustrates a complete mess behind the scenes for UNC. Some members of the Board of Trustees, including Board of Trustees Chair John Pryor, seem to have some kind of professional animosity towards Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham, which is not great. There's the acting chancellor, the presidents, the board members, the this, the that, and nobody seems to be on the same page. Starting with the firing of Mack Brown. Again, the article draws out how some weren't on board with it, some were on board with it, some were telling Board of Trustees members, may have been telling Mack Brown, you're good, tell everybody you're coming back next year. Only to less than a week later have the Hawaii contingent, which was out at Hawaii to see the Maui Invitational, athletic director, chancellor, that sort of deal, turn around and fire him before the week was up. Now the search has been a mess. And this is just a timeline thing for all of you. Right after the Mack Brown firing, Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, went on the Inside Carolina podcast, and one of the things he said was the potential hires we're looking at are still coaching. So he was basically saying don't expect to hire right now because there were conference championships coming up, NFL games still going on. So he's like the guys we're looking at are still coaching, so a week-ish on the hiring timeline. Matter of fact, Dennis just said he pulled up the audio. He's that quick with it. Here was Bubba Cunningham on the Inside Carolina pod right after the Mack Brown firing.
I would hope to have it done within a week. That would certainly be my expectation. We get it done by this time next week. We should be done. But that could slide forwards or backwards. Sure. But that would be my hope.
They're still coaching. Well, guess what? We know that they interviewed Bill Belichick. We know that they interviewed Steve Wilks. Those have been reported and by multiple sources. Neither of those guys were coaching at that time. Bill Belichick hasn't coached in a year. Steve Wilks was an analyst, advisory role style deal for the Charlotte 49ers. Their season was over by that point. So either there was a group that they thought were going to be their coach that they messed up on, right? Didn't get the close, or he didn't know who was actually the ones they were going after. Part of the disconnect, according to The Athletic, between the Board of Trustees and the administration, part of the disconnect comes from the impression that Pryor, the Board of Trustees chair, and at least one other member of UNC's board presented Belichick with a preliminary offer to make him the Tar Heels' next head coach. Any board member going over top university officials' heads to do so would violate the university's bylaws, which would be grounds for dismissal from the board. That's from The Athletic, which, by the way, would confuse reporters, depending on which side you're talking to. If you talk to Belichick's side, perhaps, and he's going, yeah, they sent me an offer, but it came from someone who's not allowed to give you an offer. Then you go to the UNC side, and they're like, we haven't given an offer. We're the only ones that are allowed to give an offer. Now you're starting to see how the ball might be in two different courts at the same time. Amid all of the uncertainty around who is actually making this hire, back to the Athletic article, Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell declined to meet with UNC over the weekend, according to sources familiar with his thinking and those briefed on UNC's search, meaning there are top-level candidates. Matt Campbell's been rumored to be at every single job in the last 5 years. There are top-level candidates that are going, you don't have your own yard in order. I'm not going to come over for a barbecue. This would not be an easy hire. The Bill Belichick hire, according to, back to The Guardian now, got to get all my reports correct. Bill Belichick is bringing a 400-page, I guess, like Bible program guideline that is going to outline everything he wants to have in a program.
It's like the employee handbook.
It's the employee handbook with core values and mission statements and structures and hierarchies and everything. And reportedly, this is I'm calling it the NFLization of college sports. It is a distinct personnel side and coaching side. There will be a GM whose contract will have a buyout. We're talking like a big contract. A GM, there will be a scouting department. There will be a coaching staff. There will be an NIL. There'll be a salary cap squad. Like, it is an NFL structure in college. It will be expensive. It has a budget for each position, all according to The Guardian. Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. His thoughts do kind of align. He explained that a college program would look like an NFL program if he ran it.
The college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching, techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that.
That is fascinating, but it would take a massive commitment from UNC. It would be an upheaval to everything you know about college football. So it becomes that is the sticking point for me. If you need 100% approval of the powers that be in order to do something big and innovative, and you don't even know who the powers that be are because they might not even know who the powers that be are, that's a really difficult situation. But it's one that UNC should do everything they possibly can to get sorted, because if there's a chance to be innovative with one of the greatest coaches of all time and maybe be a trendsetter and have everyone else copy what you're doing, I think you have to do everything you can to take that chance. And as I said yesterday, it might blow up in your face, but heck, hiring an offensive coordinator from the Big Ten might blow up in your face too. There's no guarantee for anyone.
And the big question is, who's making the call?
Who can say yes?
Who can say yes?
It's like the sales. For a while, my social media feeds, the algorithm thought I needed like sales lessons. I don't know why. Maybe it was hinting at something.
Okay.
But I got all these very animated motivational speakers going, all right, pretend I'm trying to sell you. It was all that kind of stuff. Like everyone was the Wolf of Wall Street guy, right? Sell me this pen. And they all had these big whoa moments. But half of it was like, you got to get to the decision maker. Right? If someone can't tell you yes, don't let them tell you no. You gotta get to the decision maker. That's what Belichick needs to do. Maybe go straight to like the chancellor. Right? Go straight to the top and say, listen, me and you, we need to hammer this out or not. But I'm done talking to all your cronies, because the transfer portal opened yesterday, and my scouting department that I'm bringing with me needs to get to work. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a crazy day, and we will keep you updated if we hear anything. And we are expecting Brendan Marks of The Athletic, who's done a great job covering all of the ins and outs of this. We are expecting him on the phone in the 4 o'clock hour. So
about an hour from now,
barring obvious, crazy breaking news that takes him away, we'll hear more of the details from him directly coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. With that being said, we have a great night of college basketball. Brendan Marks knows all about that too. Incarnate Word at Duke and Coppin State at NC State in one of the final tune-ups for a couple ACC teams in the Triangle. What are they tuning up? We'll tell you next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Beautiful passing by the Carolina Hurricanes. It burns Tarasovic, and it's It's 3-1 here in Vancouver.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Make your first NBA bet a swish with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. Check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever. And now is the perfect time to get in on the action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul and get a chance to score $150 in bonus bets. Have a ball, betting ball with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hi, sports fans. It's John DiCostanzo, owner of Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your gift giving this year with gift cards to Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Gift yourself a break from the holiday madness with the ultimate thrill. 16 cutting-edge simulators, world-class virtual tracks, and expert instructors. It's the adrenaline-pumping world of sim racing brought to life. Ready to race or give a heart-pumping gift? Head to Apex Racing Lab in Cary's McGregor Village and online at apexracinglab.com.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. That means it's time to save big on your next job. Right now, get your choice of 5-gallon pails of Valspar Signature Ceiling Paint or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Flat Ceiling Paint for just $148. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 12/20. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
48-47 pack, 9:39 to play. Taylor up top, brings the ball to the right. On the hop right elbow now, kicks it up top. Styles steps into a triple high archer. Got it done, Trez Styles. Another three, 51-47 pack.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're nearing the end of cupcake season.
I love cupcakes.
We're nearing the end of cupcake season. Not meaning, I mean, we might be entering like real life eating cupcake season, right? Holidays coming up. A lot of baked goods.
I'm in.
A lot of baked goods. But when it comes to college basketball, we're nearing the end of cupcake season, meaning you're going to see a lot less power conference teams playing against the, regional group of fives, Southwest, Central, Northern Missouri. I don't know. You're going to see a lot less of those against the Power Five. You're going to see conference games. There's a couple tonight, Coppin State at NC State, which you just heard Trez Styles, one of the transfers for NC State who's been establishing himself. Incarnate Word at Duke. Duke goes Incarnate Word, then I think it's George Mason, then every other game from that point on is ACC play. So this is your last chance to experiment. This is your last chance to feel pretty confident that you can maybe mess up a few times, right? Take a chance and it doesn't work and still win the game. Duke's favored by 34.5 points against Incarnate Word. So you can probably see what Isaiah Evans looks like in some of the lineups that you've been rolling out there, because he had a big game a couple games ago and got you moving in a big game off the bench. So now it's like, well, let's see how he looks alongside blank, blank, blank starters. Because you don't want to necessarily do that in an ACC game because, you go down 10 or something and it's more difficult to come back. Against Incarnate Word, you have a rough patch. Well, you probably only win that 10 minutes by 10 rather than 20. I want to see Isaiah Evans play more because it's hard to work a guy into a rotation in league play. I want to see Kamen Malawash play a lot. Malawash, the ESPN just updated their big board for the NBA draft. He is the 9th overall pick. He starts games. And he's a wildly talented player. He's shooting 77% from the field. Pretty good. But he's playing just 17 minutes. That's 7th most on the team. He averages 7 points and 4 rebounds. I want to play him 25 minutes. And it's if you don't like him in certain rotations, do it now against Incarnate Word to see if it works. Do it against George Mason so you don't have to experiment against NC State or Clemson, who's in the top 25 now.
I'm wondering if he's possibly battling an injury. I remember at the Wofford game, he kind of was checking out his ankle and stuff a little bit. So I'm wondering if it's just a progression of getting him worked back up to that number of minutes.
He is slow to get up guy, cramps a lot, or he cramped at least once. When he falls, it's very much like, but he does usually seem to be able to finish games. So
yeah, but it looked like, I remember at Wofford, they were checking out his ankle on the bench. I just wonder if that might just be a lingering thing.
If that's holding it back, then I retract my former statement. Wofford was a while ago, though. That was mid-November at least. If that's still lingering, maybe you sit him down a couple games and get it rolling. The last thing I want to see, and this is where Shire might have to when there's a bet that I like, but it's picking against conventional wisdom. You say you got to close your nose and make the bet. When you're betting on like a bad team to cover a big spread against a powerhouse, you're like, just cover your nose, man. It's gonna smell. You're about to bet on the Titans, right? It's just that's gross. But you do it anyway. If I'm Shire, I might have to cover my nose on this one. But I want to run like 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be consecutively, but 15 minutes total, where both Proctor and Flagg are not on the floor. Because there might be a moment this season where one is banged up with an injury, one is in foul trouble, and you need someone else to create, whether it's Con Knipple, whether it's Caleb Foster, where someone else has to be the main straw that stirs the drink. You don't want to do that in league games, but in a game like this, you can kind of run it out a few times, right? There's one practice every year in football, in college football, where it's usually a 10-minute period, but it's your emergency quarterback. Like if you have a first stringer, a second stringer, and a third stringer, there's usually like a tight end that played college or high school quarterback, or a wide receiver that at least knows the routes, something like that. There's always one 10-minute period in training camp where you're like, just in case the bad happens, let's let Johnny wide receiver get we'll find out if he can call plays in the huddle. I think now is a good time to roll, like just in case the bad happens and we're without our two main initiators of the offense. How do we get this rolling? State for NC State against Coppin State tonight, similarly in their last tune-up, what are they tuning up? Their roles are way more defined now than their previous slate of cupcakes. Their schedule was kind of interesting. They went 5 cupcakes. I'll call them cupcakes. Non-conference, group of 5, heavily favored games. Then they rolled out 4 power conference games. 3 major non-conference, and then their opener against Florida State. Lost 3-1-1. But those first 5 cupcakes, they didn't have the benefit of seeing what they were yet. One of those games, Ben Middlebrooks led them in scoring, which is great. Good for Ben Middlebrooks, but that's not his role. That's not what he's going to be doing this year. Now, right, it's not Colgate, it's Coppin State. But Dontrez Styles, who we mentioned, Marcus Hill are going to be your scorers, with Jaden Taylor being the offensive spark that can catch fire at any point in time. That Huntley Hatfield and Middlebrooks are your super versatile bigs that allow you to do a bunch on defense and hustle and do the dirty work. Michael O'Connell is the floor general, but through the last 4 games, you've probably learned he won't be a consistent, 12-plus point scorer. Trey Parker, Dennis Parker, your most dependable perimeter guys off the bench. Like, now you have a little bit better idea of what your roles are, and you get another cupcake when you should be fine-tuning. And you get a game where it's now more of a dress rehearsal. It's, hey, these league games are about to start up, and we're going to have to know every in and out of what we expect of you, and you're going to have to know every in and out of what you expect from you. Meaning the coaches can now be more deliberate with what each player needs to bring each and every game. Will there be weird games where, Michael O'Connell scores 20? Yeah, I'm not saying once you get your role, that's all you can do, right? I'm sure, Ringo sang lead on a couple songs. Maybe not. That might have been a bad example. But my point is you can ebb and flow as you see the move in a game, but there is a base you come back to. There is a base you come back to. And I think they have a better idea of what that is. So these fine-tunings, like I want to see what you do at your best. Or lack of a better term, this is what my coach used to call it. What do you major in? That's what our coach used to say. What do you major in? What's our offense major in? If you're a running team, we major in like gap scheme, or we major in zone blocking, or whatever you major in. Are we a passing team? We major in quick game. We major in West Coast. We major in downfield throws. Like whatever you major in is what you do best. The same thing goes for individuals. Right? Michael O'Connell, what do you major in? Well, I'm a setup guy. I'm calm, cool, collected. I've been through the wars at multiple schools, and now I'm ready to lead a new group. Cool. That's what you do. Huntley Hatfield, what do you major in? Well, I'm versatile. I'm a hustle guy. I can score if I need to, but I understand my role on this team might be making sure we don't lose the rebounding battle. Perfect. Good. That's been more established. Now go fine-tune it against Coppin State tonight, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up. We have more about the Bill Belichick situation coming up. We have a whole bunch of things coming up, including a conversation with former NC State point guard Casey Morsell. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, home of the no closing cost loan. The average length of a loan in this country is less than 4 years, and it's been that way for decades, which means when you sign up for your mortgage, you're thinking over the next 30 years. But the reality is, on average, less than 4 years into the future, you will be moving, you will be upsizing, downsizing, refinancing. You'll be doing something to end that mortgage that you started with. So don't plan for 30 years. Plan to make sure you can take advantage of 2 years from now, 2 months from now, 12 years from now, and also be in good shape if you do end up being one of the few that hold your mortgage and pay it off 30 years into the future, or a little less if you add a little to your payment. The reason why I say that is a no closing cost loan from Miller Lending allows you to refinance if rates drop with no money out of your pocket. Right? So 3 years from now, rates, for whatever reason, like if we learned anything over the last 5 years, you can't predict the future when it comes to mortgage rates, interest rates. If 3 years into the future they drop, refinance, and don't feel bad because you bought down your rate last time and now that money's wasted because you're not going to see it all the way out. Don't worry about wasting money out of your pocket. No closing cost loans never ask for money out of your pocket. Miller Lending can explain it further, but you got to give them a call. The number to call is 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or this is probably easier to remember. Just go online at millerlending.com. millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We have the Dean's List coming up. We have a conversation with Casey Morsell and more. Stick around.
It's truck season at John Heister Chevrolet, and if you've been waiting for the right deal on a Chevrolet Tahoe High Country, we've got it for you right now. Get yourself a big, beautiful 24 Chevy Tahoe High Country for up to $13,000 off. This incredible deal is for customers with a Costco membership who currently own a 2010 or newer Chevrolet passenger car or truck, or currently leasing a 2019 or newer Chevy passenger car or truck. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. Together, let's drive.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. This holiday season, why not give a gift that truly shines? At Bailey's, we believe in making every moment special, and our carefully curated selection of fine jewelry is sure to bring joy to your loved ones. From stunning diamonds to designer jewelry and luxury watches, we have the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Gift the magic of a Bailey box and make this Christmas unforgettable. Visit us today in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Introducing a product that redefines living well.
Luxury.
Designed to satisfy your wildest desires.
Extravagance.
Overflowing with suspense. Dripping with wealth.
Fortune.
The $8 million moneymaker from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With prices that start at $100 and go up to $8 million. Every win's a big win.
Whisper.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.14. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Digging out from under a giant gift list? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone at the Dugout Tavern and Grill. First, grab a much-needed break from holiday prep at the #1 sports bar in Apex. Second, get Dugout gift cards for everyone on your list. For every $50 card you buy, you get a bonus $10 gift card. Think teachers, babysitters, pet sitters, Secret Santa gifts. Dugout Tavern and Grill can also host your holiday party or cater it and come to you. Find us on Kelly Road in Apex, thedugouttavern.com.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
This year when the family gathers for the holidays, make memories, not mayhem, with help from Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School.
Ethel, our brilliant gift idea worked great. Thanks to Deep River Sporting Clays, we got the family out in fresh air and successfully avoided any overindulgence like Billy at the bowling alley that year.
This should be a holiday tradition.
Give me a high five. Ouch! Not that high.
Give me a low 5.
That's better.
Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. More than just a place to shoot. DeepRiverSportingClays.com.
Dauntless Transmissions in Raleigh is hiring. If you're an ASE certified automotive technician looking to make good money, have a guaranteed 40-hour work week, and get paid every Friday, check out this opportunity. Dauntless Transmissions is a small family-owned shop with a quality-first attitude in need of technicians with experience doing minor engine work. Happy to train the right candidate further on transmissions. If you're ready to be appreciated and duly compensated for your automotive abilities, call or apply now at dauntlesstransmissions.com.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A little bit of housekeeping here. On Monday, 99.9 The Fan, that's this upcoming Monday, we'll unveil our new December station tradition, the 5 days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's. We are celebrating our connection with our hometown hockey team during the holidays by giving you free stuff all week long. Listen for the 5 days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's, where our famous cinnamon raisin biscuits are back for a limited time and served all day, all season long. Unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. 5 days of Canesmas starting next week. Now, let's get to the Dean's List. There's the bell putting class in session. Dean's List, we highlight those that we cover in the college sports space for doing something great, maybe something a little underrated, maybe something that needs a spotlight pointed on it. This is where I get to feel good about being optimistic and positive rather than so much of media in general and sports media for sure. That seems to focus on the negative. The first member of the Dean's List today, and I know it's Tuesday, and usually we get onto these conversations, get off of these conversations after Monday, but it is worth the praise. The first Dean's List member is the College Football Playoff Committee for putting SMU in over Alabama, for doing what's right by competition rather than by cash. If money drove everything, if money made the world go round, like it sometimes does, Alabama would have been in because of their name brand, their sizzle, and all of those things. But sports have to be sports. They have to be about competition. They have to be about who plays best, who wins, what the scoreboard says, and the committee got it right. So as you know, most of the world moves on and you're looking at college football playoff first-round matchups and you're looking at who can win and who has the best path, I want to make sure we take at least a minute or two on a Tuesday to give you a double fist pump, double knuckles. Good job, committee. You got it right. Another Dean's List, and this one probably should have been first because of the nature of the achievement. Dean's List, UNC women's soccer. National champions.
Head coach leaves before the season, retires.
And it was, we talk about the transfer portal, like ransacking some teams. It's not, 9 players left to go pro. Like another double-digit left to go elsewhere. And they rebuilt their program and won a national championship.
15 new players on their team.
That's absurd.
You play 11.
That's absurd. Congrats. And that's, national champion, you don't need congrats, right? You got the trophy for that. But it's still really cool, and national champions banners hang forever.
Beat Duke and Wake Forest in the Final Four.
A little bit of bragging rights there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It was an all-ACC Final Four.
It was?
It was Duke, UNC, Wake Forest, and Stanford. Yeah, Stanford, ACC. It's weird, but when they make a Final Four, we're going to go ahead and claim them. That's just,
of course,
that's how it works.
Yeah, they're here now.
Well, they're there on the West Coast, but they're part of us. Do you have some? I have 2 more here. We can roll with.
Mine was actually UNC women's soccer.
Okay, there you go. Marcus Hill and Dontrez Styles for NC State.
Okay.
I like the moment when transfers stop being polite. Right, when transfers, and it's going to happen more and more and more in college sports because the transfer portal is becoming more and more and more pervasive and more omnipresent. But I do think it's kind of weird, right? Especially coming into a team like NC State, which had such a great season last year, and there are a handful of returners from that team where you show up and you're like, geez, I don't want to be the one to rock the boat, right? They made a Final Four. I don't want to be the one. And then there's a point where you're like, no, I'm just going to play basketball, and if I get an open shot and I'm a shooter, I'm going to shoot it. I think we're seeing that with Styles and Hill. They're no longer like, ooh, is that the way you guys like it done? And it's now just, this is how I play. It happens in every sport eventually. You see it with maybe like a transfer quarterback who's got some wheels, but the previous quarterback was a pocket passer. And you get used to watching film, and the coach just likes, oh, this guy was good at this. This guy was good at this. And then eventually they're like, yeah, you know what I can do? Run. And you tuck it and you be yourself, and I think they're hitting that for NC State men's basketball. And then last one. My last Dean's List member goes to Malik Brown for Duke. For this reason. And I highlighted it yesterday, but it's a crazy stat, so I want to highlight it again. Going into their game against who was it? It was Louisville. Going into their game against Louisville, Cooper Flagg led Duke in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Malik Brown got 3 steals in that game. Their transfer, an elite defender. Malik Brown got 3 steals in that game to bump him 0.2 steals per game over Cooper Flagg. So there is at least somebody doing one of the 5 major statistical categories better than Cooper Flagg. I think it's important that the rest of the team gets going for Duke at what they do best. And if Malik Brown's a defender, hey, Cooper Flagg might be scoring more than you, rebounding more than you, assisting more than you. He might have more per than you. He might have more plus-minus. But if you're a defender, get more steals than him.
One thing that's a little bit understated about his game every time I watch Malik Brown play is that anytime he gets the ball, it's out of his hands quick. Like, he's quick to outlet. He's either quick. As soon as he grabs a rebound and gets a steal, it's on to somebody who can push the ball up the floor.
And he's a guy, like, if you fumble it and it's loose for a second,
oh, yeah.
He's like, even if he's on the other side of the court, he gives, like, 2 hard steps as if, like, I don't know, maybe you might fumble it again. Like, I'm on the way. He's a hustle guy, so. And that's how you end up with steals, by the way. You have to pursue every single opportunity, and you leave a game with 3, and that's a massive game, which is it's like getting sacks on a quarterback, right? You got to edge rush 35 times. If you get 1 sack, that's a great game for an edge rusher. And you just have to expend that energy each and every single time. Malik Brown is that for Duke, so give him some credit. Yesterday, I caught up with Casey Morsell, former NC State point guard. Talking about that NC State run to the Final Four. He's a big part of it. He's also joining me for Pack Therapy, the podcast. Once basketball season transitions the pod, Mike Glennon during football season, Casey Morsell during basketball season. That's a pretty nice little group that I get to call co-hosts on the Pack Therapy podcast. So we were doing some work for the pod, and I said, you're going to be in the studio. We're going to get an interview for the show. This is myself with Casey Morsell. This was last night. Starting soon. I promise it's on the way. I see the video playing if you are watching on YouTube. I'm not hearing it. I'm not sure if the audio is going through or not. If it is and you're hearing both of us, I apologize. All right, never mind. Dennis gave me the hold on one finger, so and that's not the rude one finger for those of you wondering. So he'll be working on that. We'll get it up, but just to build off of what I said, Casey Morsell will be joining us during basketball season for the Pack Therapy podcast, which is really exciting because he obviously has insight into not only last year's run, but ACC basketball like few do. Now, the thumbs up has been given. Here's that conversation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, joined in studio by one of the stars of NC State's run through the ACC tournament all the way to the Final Four a season ago. Talking men's basketball, former point guard for State, Casey Morsell. He is also my co-host for the Pack Therapy podcast as we transition over to the basketball side of Pack Therapy. So everywhere podcasts can be found, be sure to like and subscribe Pack Therapy. You can also find it on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. You can also see Casey doing some stuff for ACC Network. The guy, he's everywhere. I mean, and we're happy to have some partnerships with him and happy to have him join us here. Casey, we appreciate it.
Oh, man, it means a lot. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk State. First of all, we have so much to get into, and we will be getting into all of it with the podcast over the next however many months. But I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. You're on this show before basketball season, and everyone wants to know how your run to the Final Four is going to translate to this year for NC State. And you brought up kind of I don't want to say a system change, but how the roster for State this year can play differently than your roster did. And it might be closer to how Kevin Keatts wants to play. So we'll just start with, is the system change working? Are they playing different, or is it sticking?
Honestly, they are playing a little different. I think they're still playing in a style that fits them best, and that's playing fast. I mean, you have fast bigs with Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, Dontrez Styles. So when you have a fast front court presence, it makes it easier to fit in a Kevin Keatts system.
So you call Dontrez Styles a big. Like is that his role? Is he down low? I mean, we know he's shooting a lot of threes.
Yeah, I mean, he stretches the floor out. So I would say, right now he's best in in terms of he's had his best games in the front court position at the 4, but he can play the 3. I mean, it's really wherever Kevin Keatts kind of sees fits, and that's usually in game when he starts to kind of figure out, okay, we're going to put him on the wing or down low. It all depends on the flow of the game.
The Casey Morsell, by the way, joining us here, former NC State guard, talking NC State and ACC basketball. One of the things for NC State, for the squad, that I think is toughest in the transition, I'm calling it like is figuring out who their main character is. And, and what I mean by that is like when the other team scores 8 straight, right? You're up 4 and now you're down 4. The 2 threes and 2 free throws. Who gets the ball and is like, all right, we just need a bucket? Who on their team gets it? Who do you see filling that role?
It honestly changes. I mean, as you saw with Florida State last game, they ended up going to as you saw with Florida State, they ended up going with Dontrez
and
later
Marcus
on.
Hill,
and Marcus Hill later on. But the game before against Texas, they went with Jaden Taylor towards the end of the game. So it's going to change depending on game to game because there's so many guys who could shoot that last shot, which could be a great advantage for them because, as if you're an opposing team, there's not one guy you could really key in on. You just don't know who it can go to.
Could it also be something that they have to like a obstacle? Because looking at your run last year, you're right. You're the point guard. The ball's in your hands. It seemed like you knew your job was to set up DJ Horn or DJ Burns, right? They were the guys that were kind of like to get a bucket, and then you obviously you could score on your own, or Michael O'Connell could knock down a shot. We saw his ability, but those were the guys. Like it's just. It seems like if you have a bunch of guys that think they're getting the shot, that could almost be something you have to work against rather than a couple that know they're getting the shot.
Yeah, that's where the challenge comes for this NC State team is finding that one guy to really key in on. I really thought Brandon Huntley-Hatfield was going to be that guy. I mean, just because of his front court presence and his ability to just finish at a high level around the basket. But as we've seen with these last 2 close games, it's either, it can come down to Jaden, it can come down to Dontrez, Marcus Hill. I think, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen, it's going to come down to either Jaden or Dontrez. Marcus, I mean, he's going to have to start shooting the ball better to get those last second shots because the defense is essentially going to give him that. They're going to give him shots towards the end of the game. So if he can start hitting those, I think he'll have more last second chance opportunities too.
Looking around the ACC, and I know you've done some media work calling games. One of the players who everybody wants to talk about is Cooper Flagg. Have you formed your opinion on what he is or what he isn't yet? Looking at what he can be for Duke.
You know what? I would say this, and this is I guess an unpopular opinion, but I would say that he's an important piece for Duke. But he's not the most important piece for Duke. I think
you know what my follow-up's going to be. What if it's not like the assumed number 1 overall pick? Like, who is the most important player for that squad?
I honestly, dang, that's tough. I
like
Malik,
obviously they have the Knipple, they have Malawash, some of the other freshmen, or is it one of the vets?
I would say it's the vets. It's your Malik Browns. It's your Mason. It's those veterans who are the ones who are kind of bringing that team together on both ends of the floor. Cooper Flagg, they're going to set him up and put him in position for him to score the ball at a high level. They're going to run plays. They're going to run sets for him to get open. They're going to do different things. They're going to, draw up stuff so he can get open looks. And that, that's good for him too. But it's the guys who do the dirty work that's going to, that's going to determine how far Duke can go. Because Cooper Flagg, he's going to score the ball, but I don't think Duke is going to be successful because Cooper Flagg, he scores 18 points. That's not what's going to make them, first or in the top of the ACC.
Okay, well, let's go to another player that you're very familiar with, having defended him in some high leverage situations.
Yeah.
RJ Davis and UNC, they're 5-4. Really haven't gotten that big signature win yet, or really even come close. RJ Davis is shooting 24% from 3 through 9 games, which last year he was 39.8% on the season. As a player, like is 9 games enough to be worried, or is like everybody goes through? You know what I'm talking about? Like, is it a shooting slump, or is it something that we need to keep our eye on?
Yeah, I think right now it's just a shooting slump. I think right now, I mean, with him being the ACC Player of the Year, he's facing a coverage where he has less time than last year to even get his shot off. So I think it's more of an adjustment thing in terms of trying to get in the flow. But when it comes to UNC as well, he's going to get tougher shots because guys can key on him more because you lose such dominant front court presence. I mean, I remember when we played UNC, we were just so focused on Mondo and trying to eliminate his second chance opportunities, and because he can get a double just in one possession, like he just lay up, miss it, get it back, lay up, miss it, get it back. So I mean, he and when we scouted him, RJ was more like he was secondary in terms of trying to slow him down. We just wanted to key in on Mondo, but now that Mondo's gone, it's like, okay, let's all key in on RJ, and it's tough.
That's interesting to me because obviously with RJ being the ACC Player of the Year last year, it's surprising that he wasn't number one on the scouting report, which would be a difference, between last year and this year of why maybe he's struggling a bit. Yeah.
I mean, because there's so much that goes into the play for him to get open, right? Like if there's a screen. There's Mondo that's probably setting that screen last year. So you got to worry about getting over Mondo's screen or else you're going to feel it. Like, you don't want to run into that. So you got two options.
We were just off air. I'm going to put you on blast. We were off air, and you're looking up at the video screen on our YouTube, flexing for the camera. So you got a little bit of muscle. Armando was that kind of a physical presence?
It was illegal. It was a lot of illegal screens, But anyway. So I feel like he had a lot of looks from that, and when you lose bigs that aren't drawing much attention on both ends of the floor, I mean, then it's like, okay, let's all key in on RJ, and then now you could throw different bodies at him. You're likely to switch at multiple positions. There's so many things you could do when you lose a guy like Armando, especially for UNC.
That voice you hear is Casey Morsell, former NC State guard, my co-host on the Pack Therapy podcast as we transition to basketball season. And you see him doing media stuff for ACC Network and a bunch of others as we move towards his post-playing basketball career and into what I think will be a very successful media career. Casey, the last one we have for you here before we let you go, you're somebody that played for Tony Bennett, and we've gotten your opinion on kind of that initial reaction to him retiring. Have you come to grips with the ACC with no Tony Bennett in it yet? Like, is it set in that a national championship winning coach just kind of walked away?
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I mean, it's the ACC's missing something. Like they're missing. I would say that legendary. Just
I won't put you on the spot now, but we'll get into it with the podcast on some of the who fills that void at the top of the the coaching pyramid in the ACC. For so long, we knew who the top 3-4 coaches were going to be.
For sure.
You might argue about the order, but we knew the top 3 or 4.
For sure.
Now there's a vacancy there, and we're going to have to get into it. And hey, Kevin Keatts coming off a Final Four, probably would expect his name to be in there. Yeah. So, Casey, we appreciate you for taking the time. We're up against it here, so we're going to get moving. But if you want his in-depth thoughts when it comes to NC State basketball, NC State sports, and the ACC in general, check out the Pack Therapy podcast. There'll be episodes coming out shortly, and we'll be along for the ride this basketball season. Once again, Casey Morsell, appreciate it.
Let's do it, my man.
Once again, Casey Morsell, my new co-host, coming up for some Pack Therapy episodes. Joined us in studio yesterday, and he'll be a more frequent contributor to the show, and I'm looking forward to it. Next week, I'm trying to set up the crossover edition. Like the very special crossover episodes where 2 shows or 2 movies, characters mingle. I'm trying to have both Mike Lennon and Casey Morsell on the same Pack Therapy.
Oh, there you go.
And we'll see if the point guard to quarterback thing, if they have like the mind meld that, they always say the point guard's quarterback of the basketball team, quarterback's point guard trying to get the ball to his play. We'll have all those conversations. Pack Therapy Podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and of course, including our YouTube. Right now, for all of you out there, I have an opportunity for you to win some tickets.
Let's go.
Text keyword ROCK, ROCK, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Keith Urban with Chase Matthew and Alana Springsteen at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on May 31st. If you want to see Keith Urban, Chase Matthew, Alana Springsteen, Coastal Credit Union Music Park, May 31st, you need to text in keyword ROCK to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Keith Urban. All right. I'm updating everything during that conversation with Casey Morsell. I was updating everything. We still have not gotten any kind of clarification in either direction on Bill Belichick's status as a potential head coach for UNC. There are reports in a bunch of different ways out there on how close or how far they are from the finish line, but we have not there's nothing breaking as of now. So I'm just updating you on that, and I'll try to do that throughout the show because actually, you know what? Let's take Bill Belichick out of this for a second. Just reasons why I'm updating. Remove Bill Belichick's name. We're not talking about a Super Bowl winning coach. We're just talking about UNC's coaching search. Time is of the essence. Whoever you are going to hire, if Bill Belichick never put his name in the ring, time is of the essence. The portal opened yesterday. Studs in the portal are entering and exiting the portal. They're visiting, they're taking visits, they're talking to friends, they're talking to collectives, they're doing all of that. And UNC, while I'm sure there are people in their collective world, while I'm sure there are people perhaps still in the program that are doing their best, if you don't have a head coach, you might as well not. Like, no one's going to commit to a place, no one of value is going to commit to a place without knowing who they're putting their trust in. So, the Bill Belichick deal, whether it's Steve Wilkes, whether it's Jeff Monken from Army, whoever it is, the dominoes have to start falling shortly, or else UNC is falling further and further back. And I would add this. Now let's bring Bill Belichick into it, meaning it's no longer just the nameless, faceless future coach. If I'm a 73-year-old coach taking over a program, I don't have if I show up a little late, that's cool. This year will be a rebuilding year, right? You can't show up a week after the portal and go, oh, man, we're behind the 8 ball. We'll just try to do our best, and then next year is when it'll start up. No, you kind of need to start now, Coach. So the timing is of the essence, and we will keep you updated on any news or reports that we hear coming out of Chapel Hill. But as of right now, after the flurry of reports earlier today, it's kind of chill. If it could possibly be chill. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the football at 4 coming up, which would be involving the transfer portal, including a wildly surprising and brutal transfer out of one of the programs in the Triangle. I'll tell you who. I'll tell you why it surprised me next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The breakfast burrito gets a bad rap.
Now, is that technically a breakfast sandwich?
It's called a breakfast burrito. How is it the same thing as a breakfast sandwich? It's not.
Is burrito a sandwich when it comes to breakfast?
Burrito is not a sandwich.
I'm just asking.
A burrito is not a sandwich.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, boy, here we go.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is NASCAR a sport?
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Pay $40 per room of carpet cleaned and take 25% off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Ho, ho, how about this for holiday plans? Head to Raleigh Beer Garden, home of 3 Guinness Book of World Records, including over 380 drafts on tap. That'll jingle your bell. Plan your Holly Jolly meetup at Raleigh Beer Garden for great food and drink specials. And starting December 20th, play Hop Shots Mini Golf in our climate-controlled tent. Raleigh Beer Garden, open daily from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. and hosting the Triangle's best party on New Year's Eve. Follow us to see all our specials and events at RaleighBeerGarden.com.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Make your first NBA bet a swish.
with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. Check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever. And now is the perfect time to get in on the action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul and get a chance to score $150 in bonus bets. Have a ball, betting ball with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The holidays are happening at Diamonds Direct. Still rushing to finish your holiday shopping? Don't worry, we've got you covered. This weekend only, it's our last chance sale with 20% off virtually everything. Earrings, bracelets, pendants, and more. Plus special financing options up to 5 years. But don't wait. This is your final opportunity to find the perfect gift at the best value before the holidays. Plus special designer appearances. Visit us during extended holiday hours or shop online and pick up in store. Our 20% off last chance sale ends Sunday. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Dallas Spruill from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Do you want to wish me a Merry Christmas? Is that why you're here?
Merry Christmas, Adam. Glad to be here.
Anybody else? Anybody more important than me? Of course, everybody more important than me.
It's this time of the year where it's time to celebrate with friends and family. And from all of your good friends at the Aluminum Company in North Carolina, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
All right. Now, hopefully my roof is suitable for Santa, but if people don't have roofs that are suitable for Santa, you guys can help.
We can help them, whether it's metal, flat, rubber, shingles. We got the best warranties in the industry, and we'd love to help you out.
And Santa will land perfectly and take off perfectly from the roof. Aluminumcompany.com online. Dallas Spruill is there. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas. Visit us on the web at aluminumcompany.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Cloudy skies for this afternoon, just a little bit of light rain, really warm and breezy with a high of 70. Rain picks up in intensity tonight. We'll see a low of 60 degrees and we'll be in the mid-60s for highs tomorrow. Tomorrow, a front comes through that could bring us some severe storms. We do have a WRAL weather alert day. The rain will be heavy at times.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 154 points to 44,247. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. The transfer portal is brutal. The transfer portal is ruthless. Duke learned that.
It both giveth and taketh away.
It giveth, and sometimes it taketh away what you hold most dear.
Oh, take what you gave you.
That's true, too. Maalik Murphy, Duke quarterback, going into the portal. Or in the portal, I should say. That's brutal. And you know what? I'm not even going to say it gaveth and taketh away the same in this situation because, you know, it's really hard for Duke or Duke fans or Duke as a program to be upset that Maalik Murphy is going into the transfer portal because they got him out of the transfer portal. But it's not they're not letting the same player isn't leaving their program that showed up in their program. Maalik Murphy and Duke found each other at a time where they both needed each other, right? Maalik Murphy was leaving Texas where he had started a couple games, but he was behind Quinn Ewers on the depth chart and likely about to be passed by Arch Manning. And Duke needed a quarterback to commit to Duke to show that the sky wasn't falling after Mike Elko. And they reunite, or they didn't reunite, they united, and it worked. Duke was good for Maalik. Maalik was good for Duke. They broke the school record in a bunch of passing stats. They won 9 games with the potential for 10 in the bowl game, although Maalik won't be a part of that. It's just brutal, okay? Now here's the part that I'm impressed by, and here's the part that is changing year over year. A transfer like this would have sent a program reeling like 2 years ago. Your starting quarterback with a bunch of years of eligibility left, all the momentum in the world, your coach is building something, it's becoming a cooler place to play, and your quarterback up and leaves, that would have sent a program like a week or two of, oh no, fans, sky is falling, Chicken Little. That's not how it is anymore. And we talked about this as one of the things coaches have to worry about. We talked about it weeks ago, but it's coming true. Right? The way I said it before was you have to have a plan for every player on your roster leaving. From your best player to your lowest guy on the roster, if they walk into your office and say, I want to transfer, you have to have a plan. Literally, this is how quickly it should go. You answer the phone if they're not nearby. They don't come into the office to break up with you face-to-face. You answer the phone. They say, I want to transfer. You do the whole, we'd love to have you around. Are you sure? Have you talked about it? Is there anything we can do? Let's talk this through. No, coach, I definitely want to leave. You hang up the phone. All right, fine. Wish you the best. You hang up the phone. You pick it right back up. You might not even put it down on the part of the phone that you hang up on. You might just tap it and then keep it at your ear and dial the next number. And it's either the recruit that you already know you're going to try to replace him with, or it's your position coach to say, all right, so-and-so is gone. Who's next? And that's kind of what Duke did. Maalik Murphy entered the transfer portal. Brutal. Gut punch to the fan base. I see today, Tulane quarterback Darian Mensah has scheduled a visit to Duke, per sources. This is on ESPN. He's ESPN's #1 overall portal recruit, and this will be his first visit. Duke said, Maalik, you sure? You're positive? You're gone? All right, hang up. Hey, get the Tulane guy on the phone. Let's see if we can't book that travel. It was that quick. KC Concepcion is leaving NC State, right? He is, again, in the past it would have been brutal, but even in modern times it's kind of brutal that KC Concepcion's leaving NC State in the portal. Reason being, after his freshman year, you had to pony up cash. We don't know the number, but I assume the NIL deal he signed this past year was quite nice for a sophomore in college. Didn't really pan out, didn't really produce. So instead of having all of that money that either paid for something that's going to produce great in the year he's there or build you some kind of loyalty for the next year, took all that money, had a lackluster year, hit the portal. Now, I don't fault the kid. You got to do what's best for you. You got to try to handle your future the way you want to handle your future. But I could see why NC State fans would be gut punched. The team, the players, the coach, the collective, they said, are you sure? You're going to leave? You're sure? All right. Immediately pivoted. Since the portal opened, they have the Savage Wolves collective for NC State football announced that Jonathan Paylor, Terrell Anderson, and Keenan Jackson have all agreed to stick around for next year. Those are 3 highly recruited freshmen that are 1 year younger than KC Concepcion, and particularly Paylor has a very similar, versatile skill set to KC Concepcion as far as being able to go in the backfield and get the speed sweeps and all the creative ways they use KC. Teams are no longer rattled by the portal. They understand the portal. And what I mean by that is it's as if the NFL had 1-year contracts for everybody. And you just have to, like, I was watching Monday Night Football last night, and if anyone else that was watching Monday Night Football, you saw Jamar Chase do some things. 14 catches, 170-something yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's kind of par for the course for him on primetime games this year. And what I was thinking for a bunch of it was this guy was holding out for a new contract that he didn't get before the season. The Bengals are idiots because right now he is the receiving Triple Crown leader, meaning he is leading the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. And if you're looking for cash this offseason, that's a good way to make people – that's Joe Flacco level, like betting on yourself and timing it perfectly. Now imagine this, right? Not that long ago, Cooper Kupp had a Triple Crown season. Justin Jefferson has had unbelievable receiving seasons. Tyreek Hill has had unbelievable receiving seasons. But for the most part, they don't happen in the last year of a contract, so the team's like, cool, he's already locked up for the future. Imagine if every single time one of your players had an unbelievable season, they were in Jamar Chase's situation to cash in that offseason. That's college. That's college. If you have a great season, your contract's up at the end of the year, and you can go test the market for as much money as you want. So coaches, just like the Bengals, I'm sure, the GM watching the game last night was kind of excited because it kept them mathematically allowed for the postseason, but also kind of like, where are we going to find the money to pay this dude? Why didn't we take the money that he wanted this past year because it looks like a bargain now? In college, you have to have a plan for every single player wanting to leave. That's not saying every single player will want to leave, but you better have a plan for it. You can't be left out in the dark. Tulane, by the way, the quarterback that's visiting Duke, Darian Mensah, 3-star recruit, not super highly thought of, kind of came into camp as a projected backup, won the job. Starts as one of the most efficient young quarterbacks in the country, hits the portal. Now he's going to Power 5 schools, and Tulane's like, wait a second, we evaluated him. Yeah, but hopefully you have a plan for if he plays too well and he goes and cashes in.
You think he told his head coach, John Summerall, but hey, look, I know you didn't go to an ACC school, but I'm gonna.
Well, the dumbest thing John Summerall did, and I'm not saying he's dumb, I'm just saying he said something that I wouldn't have said. He was talking to the newspaper reporter, Tulane's head coach, John Summerall, who was heavily linked to UNC. Mm-hmm. And every time he spoke to the media over the last however many days, he was being asked about it. And he got a little snippy. And he was like, yeah, that's all I'm asked about. I'm happy here. Right? All the rumors haven't gotten to me. And they're like, well, will they? And he goes, I don't know. You can't predict the future. What if some newspaper offered to triple your salary? Would you consider it? And I'm thinking like, well, don't say that because there are a bunch of schools out there that are more than willing to triple the salary of your quarterback, and now you're the guy that said, hey, if they triple it, leave. Maybe just keep that one to yourself next time. And basically, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen here. So Maalik Murphy leaving Duke, gut punch. Fan bases, you can feel hurt. I got you. Coaching staff, you got about 10 seconds to get over that and get on to the next. Because the next season isn't going to, it's like, hey, we got to push it back 2 weeks because our quarterback left. We got to figure it out. Next season is coming quick. So you better have an idea of who's going to be your quarterback. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Especially homeowners out there, listen up. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to get cash out of your home equity. I'm talking no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are expecting up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, Brendan Marks of The Athletic. He's done a great job covering the Bill Belichick will they, won't they with UNC. And we look to get the latest coming up soon right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Beautiful passing by the Carolina Hurricanes, and Burns to Roslovic, and it's 3-1 here in Vancouver.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance on front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega this holiday season. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are joined here on The Drive on the Heister Automotive Group hotline by Brendan Marks of The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Brendan R. Marks. You should check out all of his work on The Athletic. He has done a great job covering the Bill Belichick interview, potential hiring process, will they, won't they, with the Tar Heels, and that's basically what we want to get the details for. So Brendan, thank you for taking the time. we'll start with this. What is the latest? We've heard the ball is in different people's court. Can you kind of give us the closest you have to where it stands right now between Belichick and UNC?
Yeah, so my understanding of the situation right now, based on conversations that myself and my colleagues have had with people in and around UNC, as well as people in the Belichick camp, is that North Carolina has made an offer to Bill Belichick to become its next head coach, and that Belichick is currently considering and weighing whether or not he wants to accept that offer. This is obviously something that has stretched out much longer than obviously I think North Carolina hoped that it would. Initially, Bubba Cunningham had said he would have loved to have had somebody in by yesterday with the transfer portal opening. But my understanding is that an offer has been made to Bill Belichick. Let me be very clear. That does not mean that a deal is imminent. It does not mean that this is close necessarily to happening. It could still come together quickly. But my understanding is that there are still a significant number of terms to be sort of negotiated. There are hurdles to be cleared before this actually happens.
Brendan Marks of The Athletic joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on The Drive. Do you have any idea what the unique terms are? Again, some of the reporting out there makes this seem like it is going to be a complete upheaval of what a modern college football kind of leadership structure looks like. Is there any truth in based on your reporting to that?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is I've seen a lot of things out there. Yeah. I think that there's a significant amount of misinformation out there, so I would certainly caution fans and people who are interested in this to just consider where you're getting your information from. But, it's a number of things. And listen, if this does come to fruition, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if it will or will not, it's going to be a very unique situation because it is a unique situation. It's a unique coach. It's a unique thing to happen, to have someone of Bill Belichick's stature suddenly decide to essentially punt on the NFL and having a chance at the all-time wins record to coach in college. So, obviously there are the standard things that you're talking about, and those are by no means easy conversations either. You're talking about pay. Bill Belichick was making $20 million a year in the NFL. He was the highest paid coach in the league. Mac Brown last year was making $5 million a year, and he was one of 3 active national championship winning coaches. So there's a chasm of pay that has to be met. You're talking about years. This is somebody who's already in his 70s. Again, North Carolina talked about potentially getting younger. How much of a commitment do you want to make in this sense? And the last thing here as it relates to the financials is how much money does North Carolina or any school in the ACC legitimately have? Realistically, how much money can you afford to spend on a coach and his staff and any facilities upgrades you want to make? And then, by the way, also pay the players who are going to make this grand vision come to reality. And the fact of the matter is there is not a bottomless well of dollars. And so certainly those are some of the things that are being negotiated. Power, structure of if Belichick were the head coach, what it would look like, who he reports to, who he can bring in infrastructure-wise, all of those things and more. But again, this is still very fluid. It is still, it is not imminent. Anyone who says that it is, agreed to already is incorrect based on my understanding of the situation.
Now I want to go to the other side because, again, the reporting on The Athletic is very, very in-depth, and I encourage everyone to go check it out in full. But part of it is also the leadership structure on the UNC side. Is there someone that can say yes to these demands? Because obviously Bill Belichick and any NFL coach is going to demand quite a few resources, and that's not something that a low-level manager can sign off on the expense reports. But the reporting has some disagreements between the board of trustees and the athletic director, the chancellor. Is there any person that can, shake Bill Belichick's hand and say, you are the coach if it does get to that point?
Yeah, so it's, again, if only it were that simple. Unfortunately, there's not this one person who, gives them the handshake and, okay, it's all done. Mm-hmm. In effect, this is going to be a decision that at the end of the day, based on North Carolina's leadership structure, the university itself, not what anybody wants it to be, what it is, this is going to have to be something that Bubba Cunningham as the athletic director and Lee Roberts as the chancellor both sign off on. And then I don't know if people recognize this or not or are aware of this, but any sort of coaching contract, especially when you're dealing with financials, has to then subsequently be approved by the board of trustees, which is why some of the reported infighting that we have detailed at The Athletic, I think other outlets have sort of been on top of too, is so notable because it's not just in terms of which direction you're going in this search. It's also how this search ultimately culminates. And so, again, no, there is not, the simple answer is no, there is not one person who shakes their hand. At the end of the day, Bubba Cunningham and Lee Roberts are the people who are going to make the decision about who North Carolina's head coach is. That is how North Carolina's internal power structure is set up for the athletic director and the chancellor to be the ones making that call. But, of course, that does not mean that prohibits other people from making contact, from trying to get into the mix. And obviously some of that is what has made this process much, much more complicated than anyone imagined it would be at the onset.
That voice you hear is Brendan Marks. Follow him on Twitter at Brendan R. Marks. Does some excellent reporting for The Athletic. Brendan, I'm just going to say a name, and you can tell me whether you think he's a part of this or if there's a role for him. Where does Steve Belichick come into all of this?
That is one detail that I think, again, is still very much up in the air.
Okay.
And, it's a situation where, I've seen, again, some things out there about what he would or would not be promised. He doesn't have a bad job at the University of Washington right now. North Carolina's defense is an area that whoever becomes the head coach immediately has to rectify because the Tar Heels have been a disaster on defense for basically a decade now. So I would say that part of the equation, who in total, not just Bill Belichick's son, but who Belichick brings to North Carolina on his staff is still a work in progress as well. And again, that's why it matters to consider, okay, do we have the funds to bring in the people that we want? Again, when you're talking about potentially hiring a coach who's already in his 70s, obviously that is not a decision that you're making for any sort of significant long haul, as we just saw with Mac Brown.
So, Bill Belichick, I think you've done a great job outlining where it kind of stands now, according to you and your colleagues' sources, and it's not imminent. They're still in discussions, but if you're UNC, then you have to do due diligence with other candidates. Do you have a list or some names that are also in the running if it's not Bill Belichick?
Yeah, certainly I know one who we reported who has interviewed for the job already, interviewed last Wednesday with North Carolina's officials essentially, was Steve Wilks, who is the former Carolina Panthers interim head coach. He was the Arizona Cardinals head coach for a year. He's been a defensive coordinator with the San Francisco 49ers. He's from Charlotte. He played at App State. He last season was with the Charlotte 49ers in an advisory role. He's someone who has internal support. And when I say internal, I mean from players who have previously played at North Carolina. A couple of conversations with people has made it clear that if Steve Wilks were the eventual choice for North Carolina, it would probably also mean bringing some of those former players back, most notably Julius Peppers, in a role to promote the brand and to try and get North Carolina's NIL situation to where the next coach thinks that it needs to be successful. So certainly Steve Wilks is another name that we've heard. And then the last one, which is really a biggie and gets back to the timeline aspect of this, is Monken. And he is somebody who obviously has the Army-Navy game this weekend, is not going to make any sort of move or take his focus off of that game in any way. So if you're North Carolina and ultimately he becomes your primary option, well, this is a situation where now the transfer portal has been open for a week and you're still trying to figure out if this is going to be your next head coach or not. So right now I feel comfortable saying that those are the three names that myself and my colleagues have heard most often in conversations relating to this job. And again, I to be honest with you, I couldn't forecast which of those three it would be if I had to right now.
Last one for you, and it's kind of off the beaten path here, but UNC basketball fans a little bummed out that maybe AJ Dibansa didn't end up in Chapel Hill committing to BYU. Talking about rumors and reports of numbers, the number one recruit in I believe the next recruiting class. I've seen some very, very funny NIL numbers connected with him and BYU. Have you seen anything like it, and are they as outlandish as maybe some people in the rumors are saying?
Yeah, I can say this. For certain, AJ Dibansa, by going to BYU, stands to make a seven-figure payday. I can tell you that for a fact. But some of the figures that I've seen are pretty outlandish. Myself and my colleagues did some reporting over the summer just on what power conference teams overall are spending in terms of NIL to secure their rosters. To my knowledge, there is currently only one high major conference team which has three players who are all earning seven figures this season. And certainly, in our reporting, the schools who we found had the largest NIL infrastructure as a team were in the $5 to $6 to $7 million range, again, for a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of the rumors that I've seen, again, consider where you're getting information from. The idea that a single player is going to be making more than that. Again, if a school has powerful boosters and it has people who can back that individually, it's one thing. But especially knowing what the landscape looks like, knowing what it's going to mean for revenue sharing to come into the picture next year, and how that is going to hamstring, different organizations in terms of what they're able to pay guys and how that fits in the NIL equation. It's a 7-figure payday. BYU is paying him more than anybody else was willing to. But the idea that this guy is going to be making, 8 figures next year is certainly, to my understanding, not the reality.
Brendan, we appreciate it as always. Thanks I'm sure it's a busy time, so thank you for taking the time, and we'll continue to follow along at The Athletic.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Once again, Brendan Marks of The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter or X. I keep saying Twitter. I'm always going to. It is at Brendan R. Marks on X. Check him out for all of the latest on all of those situations. First of all, I think that's a very, very and he is like journalism reporter deal, right? So when he talks, he has to make sure that the sources are there and it's not rumor or anything like that. So I think it's good to get that side of things talking about the Belichick deal. And it sounds like, while not dead, it might not be on the 1 yard line like some are out there assuming it is, but it's still alive. You're telling me there's a chance. I just think there's a lot of people that have to say yes on the UNC side of things, and that's not. It doesn't seem like Belichick is asking for a small ask, right? So it might be you got to convince like each individual person. It's not like everybody in the room looks around and goes, "We're good with this," right? It's like, I've got these 4 things I've got to, you got to work me over on, and you have these other 4 things, and you have 6 things, and the one that's angry in the corner has 10 things that they have a problem with, and you have to go and solve each of those problems to make it happen. But it's still possible. I don't know when it's going to get to the point where Bill Belichick coaching the Tar Heels doesn't make me kind of go like, really? That's wild. But I'm not there yet. And then also it's kind of crazy that we're to the point in NIL where he has to like throw water on the fire of the rumors and go, it's not nearly as much as everyone's saying. Definitely 7 figures though. It's like, wait, what? That's the everybody calm down number is definitely
Guys,
7 figures.
Only 7 figures.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's over $1 million. And that's the it's not getting carried away number. It's 7 figures in college basketball. For BYU, by the way.
Yeah.
BYU.
Oh, they got some money.
Obviously.
Oh yeah.
Obviously they got something to spend. So it's a crazy time right now. There's a lot of change going on in college sports, and we have first goal score predictions coming up here in about 2.5 minutes. So for the Canes game tonight against San Jose, start thinking about. You have about 2 minutes to decide who you think is going to score the first goal of the game and in what period they will score it. There will be a Apex Racing Lab prize on the line for 3 of you. So start thinking about it. But here's the thing about college sports. Because this has been one of my, I keep reminding you things. For all of the changes, and there's a billion of them, and you're seeing them all happen in real time, right? A coach is demanding, reportedly, a completely new structure involving GMs and scouting departments and all of these things to run a college football program. There's basketball players getting 7 figures without having yet to play a college basketball single play. There's players who helped raise a program hitting the transfer portal immediately. These are dramatic and crazy changes that I'm sure a lot of you are not fans of. I still put this challenge out there. Once the games start, I don't think anything's changing. Does your Saturday change? If you are a fan of a college football team, on Saturday, opening kick, you're sitting on your couch, you're in the stands, you're hanging out with your buddies, you're watching the game still hasn't changed. What has changed a ton is the Tuesday after the conference championships. Today has changed a ton. What has changed a bunch? Spring ball has changed a bunch. Recruiting has changed a bunch. But I stand by the fact that the actual field and court of competition largely similar to me. And until that starts being downgraded in a major way, I'm not going to, send up any flares about the future of college sports. As long as you still have those golden few hours when you're just watching your college team or your college conference or whatever you enjoy watching, and they're just playing the sport, until that gets marred or damaged in some way, I'm not going to send up any flares. I'm not going to, send up any SOSs for the future of college sports. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the first goal scorer predictions. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open now at 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We do this every single day on the show when there's a Canes game that night. So a weekday game, we have a show. We are doing first goal scorer predictions. You have to call in now at 919-860-5326. 3 contestants will get to predict the player and the period of the first. So who scores the first goal and in what period do they score it for the Canes tonight against San Jose? If you get it right, you get an ultimate sim racing experience, a gift card to Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, world-class virtual tracks located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh. Visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. Once again, that is apexracinglab.com. We have the 3 contestants locked up on the phone lines. We'll go to Harry and Clayton first. Harry, thank you for calling in. Your time is now. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I think it's Natchez in the first period. I think he does it on just a breakaway. He's just going to drive it in.
Natchez on a breakaway. I think you are playing the odds quite well. He is playing extremely well this season, so I think it's a good pick.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you, but your pick is locked in. By the way, there are no double-ups from official contestants, so Natchez in the first is now off the table for the next 2 callers. They can go Natchez in the second or any other player in the first or third, how it goes. Matt and Carey, you're up next. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Well, the guy's on the heater, so let's go with Svetch on the power play in the first.
Svetch on the power play. I like adding the power play there. You don't have to get it right for power. It doesn't have to be a power play for you to win. You just have to get the player and the period. But I do like that added as a detail. So solid pick, Matt. Go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up, or we see if it gets right, and Dennis will get the info you need. Now, Andrew in Raleigh. Andrew in Raleigh, you are our last official contestant. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
All right. Well, those were a couple good guesses. They took mine, but I'm going to go Roslovic in the first. That's what we're locking in.
That's not bad either. He's low key, one of the top scorers. Yeah, so
exactly.
That's if your top 2 picks get taken, Roslovic in the first is far from a bad option. Any more details on it? Is it something special? Is it a unassisted?
Go
ahead.
It's going to be like a cheesy goal, maybe like a tip in or like a redirection. That's what I'm going with.
All right. I like it. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis will grab some info and make sure if it is a cheesy goal from Roslovic, you get your prize. Dennis, before you grab that info, go ahead and, as always, give us your prediction for first goal scorer.
A guy who has scored twice in the last 3 games for the Carolina Hurricanes, and ironically, in the last 2 times that he has scored the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes in the first period, Eric Robinson.
You're right.
Give me Eric Robinson. Who's been guessing that this season? Nobody has. Give me Eric Robinson on the first off of a backdoor tap-in.
That's funny because, obviously, I watch every Canes game, but sometimes I can't watch them live because, got a kid and got stuff going on. But I do, even if I'm going back to watch the game, when there is a first goal scorer, I'm checking the stats constantly because I want to know if one of us wins. Just in my phone, at the park or wherever we are, or eating dinner or whatever. And every time Robinson pops up, I go, nobody picked that. So Dennis going with Robinson now, I can no longer say that. By the way, I am doubling up with Matt. My first goal scorer prediction is Andrei Svechnikov in the first. keep the good times rolling, keep the good times going. He is playing well. He has woken up as far as a point producer. But the detail I'm going to add is that I think Martinook does most of the work. I think it's one of those, Martinook's just kind of, down and dirty and grimy. I think he digs one out, or he's the hustle guy that makes the play happen, or maybe even he takes the shot and there's some kind of a deflection. I just think right now with Svetch on a heater and Martinook being Martinook, the way that kind of goes is Martinook's going to do all the work and Svetch is going to luck into one. So give me Svetch in the first, but Svetch is going to wish that he could pass off the stat to Martinook, but that's not how it works. That's my specificity of the prediction, but it is a big game for the Canes, and you might look at it and say it's a weird game. It's a Tuesday. It's San Jose, not a familiar opponent. It's all true, but I think it would be a big game no matter who the Canes play. Just with where they've been their last 5 games, where they hope to be, very shortly as far as stepping up their level of play. I think it's a big game for the Canes.
We've actually had a few predictions here online.
Love it. Let's hear it.
Travis says he's going to buy his ticket to Chatmandu, so he's going Jalen Chatfield in the first period.
We haven't had a chatty prediction in a while. We've been missing it. I like that. Good job, Travis.
Caleb says Nature's breakaway, middle of the first period.
That's very similar. Harry had that very similar thing.
You also have from D. Ely, Kokaniemi in the first from Blake and Slavin.
Kokaniemi in the first.
Yeah, Kokaniemi. He's very big
talking
Kokaniemi
about
fan.
needing it.
And then you're going to love this one. This one comes from Matt Morrison. Jarvis Hattie won every period.
Why would you single me out? Everybody would love that.
Oh, I know, but you would. I know you would geek out over that.
I would absolutely love that. And I do think there's a chance Jarvis does something special today. Obviously, that would count. But I think there's a chance that he, whether consciously or subconsciously, senses the moment and does something to make everybody relax and play well, which could be a pretty ridiculous play. Whether it's one of those wild hustle plays where he flies back on defense and makes a play that we've seen a few times, or crazy goal. I think there's a chance Jarvis senses the moment and steps up today.
What was your prediction again?
I went Svetch in the first, but my caveat was I think Martinook does all the work.
Okay.
I think it's one of those where Martinook digs it out, or Martinook makes the hustle play. Could even be a Martinook shot that Svetch deflects, because Svetch is on such a heater that he's just going to get one. I do 1% of the work, I get 100% of the stats. And Martinook's always a grinder. So Martinook does all the work. Svetch gets the goal.
Looks like he's playing with Svetch and Stahl Martinook tonight. It looks like.
That's what I saw. I should have mentioned that. I saw that on the morning skate reports. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Get your own, very own, total, customized, tailor-made to your needs retirement plan from Coach Pete and everyone over there at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Coach Pete is a coach in a bunch of different ways, one of which is he knows how to design a game plan. And every game plan is different. Right? The opposing team has a 6'5", 240-pound running back. Well, we're going to stack the box. Opposing team has a 5'9" but runs a 4.2 40 running back. All right, we might have to still put our dime out there and put them all in the box. Everything has to be custom. Same is true with your retirement. You have a bananas amount of kids that you want to help take care of in your retirement. Well, you're going to need certain needs. If you have no kids, you're going to have other needs. If you want to have 2 homes, if you want to have 1 home, if you want to have all these different things that are custom to your specific life, your retirement plan needs to be custom to your specific life. So don't go somewhere where you're going to find a one-size-fits-all plan. Go to Coach Pete and the fiduciary planning team at Capital Financial, where they can help you build that completely tailor-made, custom to your life, your needs plan, free of charge. All you have to do is call 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Or you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's TIM. Text it to 600-700. They'll know why you're there. If you call, make sure you mention us to get the free best-selling book, one of the many best-selling books that Coach Pete has written. All you have to do is mention us, Tim from 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, we have a feedback frenzy here on The Drive. Stick around.
Hey, Raleigh homeowners. This is Keith Gregory, Vice President with Baker Home Exteriors, but more importantly, a homeowner like you. I invite you to join the thousands who have trusted us to service and upgrade their homes. We treat every home as the sanctuary it is, transforming and preserving homes with roofing, siding, doors, decks, and window services for over a century. Trust our expert team for professional installation. Visit bakerroofing.com and schedule a time with our team.
Welcome to the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club Aromatherapy Room. Our first scent is the essence of this month's scratch-offs.
I'm getting notes of anticipation mingled with, cold hard cash.
Anyone else?
Oh, is that tilapia?
Sorry, that's my lunch.
New Diamond 10X and Lotteria are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.99 to 4.23. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Did you know that Bailey's Fine Jewelry has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for luxury designers, fine diamonds, and watches, but we also have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. We're celebrating making holiday gifting easy since 1948. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. To see why, every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Digging out from under a giant gift list? Kill two birds with one stone at the Dugout Tavern and Grill. First, grab a much-needed break from holiday prep at the #1 sports bar in Apex. Second, get Dugout gift cards for everyone on your list. For every $50 card you buy, you get a bonus $10 gift card. Think teachers, babysitters, pet sitters, Secret Santa gifts. Dugout Tavern and Grill can also host your holiday party or cater it and come to you. Find us on Kelly Road in Apex, thedugouttavern.com.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Pearl Jam live. Dark Matter US Tour. May 11th and 13th, Lenovo Center, Raleigh. Pearl Jam. Sign up now. More info at pearljam.com. Don't miss Pearl Jam, produced by Live Nation.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, on Monday, the 99.9 The Fan 5 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's, will start up. It's our new December station tradition. We are celebrating our connection with our hometown hockey team during the holidays by giving you free stuff all week long. How does it get better than that? Everybody loves free stuff. Everybody loves Canesmas. Listen for the 5 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's, where our famous cinnamon raisin biscuits are back for a limited time and served all day, all season long. Unwrap the holiday. I was going to unwrap the holiday. Unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Canesmas coming up. Dennis, it's also time for a feedback frenzy. This is the part of the show where Dennis peruses the interweb, social media, our YouTube comments, looks for reactions to the show, conversations we've had, interviews we've done, whatever it is. And if it's a good piece of feedback, question, concern, comment, argument, Dennis grabs it and we bring it on the show. What do we have today?
All right, so a lot of different reactions to Bill Belichick and all those things, and we'll definitely dive into that here in just a second. But actually, we had a conversation yesterday about the college football playoff. About hey, committee got it right.
Yes, surprise.
This one comes from Robert Goodson. This is a little bit more of a longer response. People are short-sighted. SMU being added over Alabama wasn't the right call for the CFP. One of two things just occurred. The era of mega conference just ended as the SEC and Big Ten came to the realization that their strength of schedule wouldn't be taken into account, or more likely, the divisional split between the two haves and have-nots just became official in the minds of the Big Ten and SEC. Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, and South Carolina are all sitting at home. Meanwhile, Boise and Arizona State are getting bye weeks over Texas and Penn State because they, quote, won a conference championship, and SMU and Indiana are getting in with a Charmin soft schedule. This state of affairs won't last beyond the next look-in for the CFP. I don't know why I don't know why anyone thinks this is an improvement. Look at Oregon's potential schedule for the national championship versus Penn State's potential schedule. The bracket is lopsided as hell. A lot of different things hit on this one.
I was going to say, you disagreed with something and then agreed with others, just angrily agreed. You can go back and listen to everything we've said about SMU. They picked the right teams to get in. The structure needs to be changed. I said the bye structure needs to be changed immediately. Those are two different conversations. So the first half you disagree with us, second half, or at least me, second half you agree with me. Next, it's got to be about wins.
Yeah, wins have to matter at some point.
Gotta. Alabama was fourth in their own conference. That has nothing to do with their non-conference schedule. If you lose games in your conference, fine. Alabama that's played no one in the non-conference schedule. Their strength of schedule was not taken into account. Well, it would have been if you played someone in your non-conference schedule. Mercer didn't really excite us. There's a lot to get into, and here's why I say SMU is SMU is the correct pick. They have 2 losses to top 25 teams by a combined 3 points in regulation.
Yeah, or 6 points total, yeah.
That's like I don't even see. I understand if you want to put the brand in because you say it's a business thing. That's foolish because it's competition and it's a sport. But at least I see you're like the future of the college football playoff is about getting eyeballs on it and it's all about money. If you put Alabama in there, I would disagree with you, but I see the logic. If you're arguing that Alabama should get in on a results-based situation, I don't know what to do. They lost to Oklahoma 28-3. Oklahoma's not good.
And they lost to Vanderbilt.
Who at the time everyone was like, they beat Alabama. Vanderbilt must be this much better than we thought team. And then they came back down to earth, and it turns out, no, Alabama's just not that good. And they don't have Nick Saban on the sideline either. Like, it's a different beast right now. Make them prove to you that they're good before you just start going crazy, riding and dying with them. What else we have?
All right, this one comes from a couple people regarding Bill Belichick. I'm going to give you both because I think it kind of shows you the different sides of people and the thoughts of Bill Belichick. This first one comes from Michael Daniel saying, Bill Belichick has never coached college, does not know how the NIL works, and has never recruited. Tom Brady is not playing for the Tar Heels. This one, another one's from Musty Martian says, great name, Colorado took a chance on Deion Sanders, and that turned out great. Why not Belichick to UNC?
I agree with that. I think Deion Sanders has opened up schools to more outside-the-box thinking with coaching hires. Going back to the NIL thing, do you know who else hasn't handled revenue share? Every college football coach that you know. Revenue share is brand new. The first time in the history of college sports, players are going to be allowed to be paid by the university. Now, Bill Belichick doesn't have any experience with that. You know who else doesn't? Kirby Smart. You know who else doesn't? Dabo Swinney. You know who else doesn't? The longest tenured college coaches that you think of. College football is different. You could argue him having dealt with players getting paid for New England or the Browns or the Giants sets him up better to deal with players getting paid in college than the college coaches. There's going to be new things for everybody. And I've also probably said this too many times over the last 2 days. It might fail. It might, like Bill Belichick showing up in UNC might be a diabolical failure. Might explode in everyone's face. Show me the 100% won't fail coaching option, and I'll hire that one. There aren't any. You can fail with much less of a high ceiling higher than Bill Belichick. So why not take the big swing? Because, Jeff Monken might not work out either. Jeff Monken at Army, who's one of the three that Brendan Marks gave us that's kind of in consideration that the athletic sources have confirmed. He runs the triple option for Army. You think the safe option is a guy saying, no, I'll run a more professional offense. I'll just figure it out when I get there. Like, that's what you think is the safe option over a guy with 6 Super Bowl rings? Give me Belichick.
All right, this one comes in regarding the Carolina Panthers. This one comes from C. Cathy. Talking about Jonathan Brooks and the torn ACL, re-tearing his ACL just literally about a year ago from when he did it last year. Link Jonathan Brooks up with Thomas Davis. He came back after 3 ACL tears and played at a Pro Bowl level. It can be done.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a good point.
I'm sure that those conversations are happening. It's actually a weird thing, Dennis. You can confirm or say I'm nonsense on this. One thing I've learned about in my years playing and covering sports, if you've dealt with an injury that is brutal, for some reason, guys love reaching out to other players that get the same injury.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, that's a real thing.
If somebody tore an Achilles, it's like Kobe was in their DMs like quick. If somebody, their hip popped or whatever, like somebody else who had that, Bo Jackson was quick to respond. Like those, I don't know what it is about injuries, guy. Maybe it's like a I've been there, misery loves company, hey, keep your head up thing. But when someone has a similar injury to you, athletes, for whatever reason, are very good about reaching out and saying, here's what worked for me. If you ever need, to vent, if you ever need some advice or you want a second opinion, like I've been there. And I'll also say this, as somebody that dealt with hamstring issues from my junior year of high school all the way through college, you become weirdly an expert at that one body part that you have an injury history at. Go talk to somebody that tore an ACL twice. They'll be talking ligaments with you. They'll be using that's the hyperectotrophy ligament. You're working on the backside. That's the dorsal flex maximum. And it's like
that'd be the posterior cruciate ligament, sir.
But even more than that, they go. You become a weird expert at one specific body part because you spend so much time rehabbing it. So I'm sure Thomas Davis has reached out to Jonathan Brooks, if for no other reason than Thomas Davis is an athlete, and it seems to be how they're wired when you see someone have a similar injury. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's a little feedback frenzy here on The Drive. Coming up next, we have the starting 5. We have to look towards tonight's game. Canes, Sharks. It's a big game. How big? How do they take advantage of it? Stick around.
Hey, it's Dennis Cox.
And Victoria Bodenecker.
And we want to help you celebrate hockey and the holidays.
Welcome our new 99.9 The Fan tradition.
The 5 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's.
It starts Monday the 16th as we celebrate our love for our hometown hockey team by giving you stuff.
Listen all week long to win gift cards from Hardee's and special hockey surprises.
Let's stuff your stocking with the 5 Days of Canesmas.
Presented by Hardee's. Unwrap the holiday goodness of our handcrafted favorites.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Make your first NBA bet a swish with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. Check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever. And now is the perfect time to get in on the action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul and get a chance to score $150 in bonus bets. Have a ball, betting ball with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at autobell.com.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here, and I am a self-admitted watch guy. And if you're a watch person like me, you need to listen up. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically their Village District location in Raleigh, is the place for you to make your next statement on your wrist. Put the next piece of art or history on your wrist. We're talking timepieces, whether it's in the Fox & Bailey watch shop with a great assortment of new, pre-owned, and vintage watches, or across the store in the Omega Boutique, which is the second largest of its kind in the country, or in the main showroom, where they're getting some new additions when it comes to their watch selection. We're talking Blancpain and their iconic 50 Fathoms model. We're talking Glashütte Original Watch Company, one of the best versions of German timekeeping. So we're adding Swiss, we're adding German to an already awesome selection of timepieces, all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located inside the Village District in Raleigh.
Ho, ho, how about this for holiday plans? Head to Raleigh Beer Garden, home of 3 Guinness Book of World Records, including over 380 drafts on tap. That'll jingle your bell. Plan your Holly Jolly meetup at Raleigh Beer Garden for great food and drink specials. And starting December 20th, play Hop Shots Mini Golf in our climate-controlled tent. Raleigh Beer Garden, open daily from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. and hosting the Triangle's best party on New Year's Eve. Follow us to see all our specials and events at RaleighBeerGarden.com.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmot. Scattered showers possible for the rest of the evening. Better rain chances overnight tonight and through the day Wednesday when we have a weather alert day in place. Severe storms will be possible. It'll be very windy and we could have some pockets of heavy rain beginning in the morning and continuing through the afternoon.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today down 154 points to 44,247.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Today it's flown by. There's a lot of news going on. So let's go ahead and jump into the starting 5, starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gostisbehere fakes the shot. He'll get it back for Natchez. Natchez looking. It deflects off of the skate. The score! Marty Natchez making his own look. And on the power play, the Canes get the bounce. It's 5-4.
That's pretty good. Need more of that. Actually, the Canes have been exceptional on the power play over you look at 3 straight games with a power play goal. 8 of the last 9, I think I saw somewhere. Something like 16 in the last 13 games. The stats are out there. You can find them. They've been good on the power play. Haven't been good enough overall over the last 5 games, right? Lost 4 of their last 5. They get the Sharks tonight. I think that is a game that can operate as a bounce-back game for them, but they are facing some adversity. Rod Brindamore, their head coach, talked about what they're going through now and how they can build from it.
You have to have it. I mean, you're never going to go through a year. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate over the last few years where we never really had a dip during the regular season. We just kind of, and that's a testament to the group. But now we've gone through a little one. I see it as a great learning experience, a good thing. I mean, you got to get, kicked down a little bit to reset your game and both individually and as a team. So we've kind of gone through this stretch here, and hopefully we'll bounce out of it.
That was from Coach Brindamore earlier today. Bouncing out of it is the key. Now, right? The goal is very well kind of manufactured. The how is the question. And Dennis and I were talking earlier today. We're going to talk about this later to close the show. So Canes fans, stick around. The how is interesting, right? If you need a inciting incident or something to snap the Canes out of whatever skid they've been on in the last 5 games, whether you think it's a big deal or not, you want it to stop. The how is the question, and we're going to try to answer that later on in the show, so pay attention for that. That's number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
I'm calling an audible here, Dennis.
Left, Burrow, sideline.
So enjoy this
Chase,
Monday night
spin.
highlight.
There he goes. Jamar Chase. Not touchdown, Bengals.
That was fun. We were going to talk Monday Night Football here, but I've pivoted.
Okay.
Transfer portal is where we're going with this.
Okay.
Because
pivot.
UNC offensive lineman Howard Sampson has entered the transfer portal, ESPN has learned. The former North Texas transfer started all 12 games at left tackle this season for the Tar Heels and earned honorable mention All-ACC. Pair that with Aiden Banfield, a fellow offensive lineman for UNC that came in and was one of the best performing true freshmen in the country along the offensive line. UNC, not unexpectedly, is losing transfers to the transfer portal while they remain rudderless without a head coach. But it's not just programs without head coaches. We talked about it earlier. Maalik Murphy, the quarterback that transferred into Duke this past offseason and broke the school record in a couple passing statistics, is back in the transfer portal looking to leave Duke. Now, the one bit of clarification that I feel like I need to mention is there is a difference between going into the portal and committing or signing with another team. You can still come out and go back to where you are or where you came from. But I think that's pretty rare. It does happen. What was it? Aiden White last year for NC State. Seth Trimble for UNC on the basketball side of things. It does happen. It just doesn't happen often. I know we say it often, and I know it's probably said so often that it's in one ear and out the other. Transfer portal's not going anywhere. This is the new of college football. It is the new of college basketball. College, any sport, is you have to build your team in a 1-year time increment. Manny Diaz took over Duke. He brought in Maalik Murphy. It would be incorrect to think he brought in Maalik Murphy for the next 3 seasons because he had 3 years of eligibility. The way you think about it is he brought in Maalik Murphy for the 2024 football season. And not even the full football season, right? Not even the bowl game. He brought him in for the 2024 Duke football regular season. And anything beyond that is to be determined later. Sampson, the offensive lineman that we just brought up, is entering the portal for UNC. Started all 12 games. He was a transfer from North Texas. Gigantic human, by the way. Big dude. But he wasn't there at UNC to play for UNC the rest of his career. You could argue he was there to block for Omarion Hampton. And now that the running back is on his way out, he's like, well, maybe I want to go see if there's more fun running game somewhere else. And I'm not trying to put words into his mouth as far as his motivation for leaving, but I'm just saying the way college sports works now, you build your program for 1 year. You build your program for one season. And then anything beyond that, you have to determine, and they have to determine if it's still working. Right? It's every season, I don't even know if this actually happens. It happens in movies a lot, where like there's the will they, won't they rom-com, and they're like, here's what we'll do. We'll hang out, we'll have some fun, we'll see how the summer goes, and when it hits fall, we'll decide if it's still fun for both of us. And if it's not, we'll go back to being friends. Like that's kind of what every college football season is now. You go get your quarterback out of the portal or your offensive lineman out of the portal, and you say, listen, we'll try it out. We'll have fun in training camp. We'll spend the fall together. We'll get hot cocoa. When winter comes around, if it's not being fun for one of us, we'll go our separate ways.
That's fine.
It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean you're a bad. We're just we're having fun. We're young. It's our college years. I don't know if anyone actually has those conversations, but it does happen in like rom-coms often.
Yeah,
now it's going to be college coaches and players. Like, listen, I'm not asking you for a 3-year, 4-year commitment. I just want to see if you'll have some fun with us this fall. Listen, we got this quarterback. He's got 1 year of eligibility. We're making a run for it. We're going to try to win some cool things. Can you stop by for the fall? We got this running back. He's going to be a pro. We need some guys to open some holes for him. You know it's more fun to run block than pass block. Come over for the fall. We're going to run the ball 35 times a game. It is seriously the transfer portal. Have you ever seen that? Like every once in a while, like I don't know why this one's popping in my head. I think Ronaldo did it, the soccer player, where he posts like an Instagram picture, and then he shows the camera the notifications because he has whatever like tens of, if not dozens of millions of followers, and it's just like a never-ending of people liking and commenting and sharing and reposting and liking. Like his phone like gets paralyzed by the notifications. I have to imagine that's what the websites that monitor the transfer portal are right now. Like there's some assistant coach in every single football facility across the country just hitting refresh, and there's 100 new names. Refresh, and there's 100 new names. Refresh, and there's 100 new names. And then somewhere there's a head coach going, anyone good? And they're like, I don't know. It's like watching the end of Avatar and you're trying to read one name in the credits. Got 5 million names up here, and they're going by really fast. My buddy was in the sound effects department. Can you read it? I think I saw it. That was definitely his name. I think I saw it. It was right there. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Cooper backs down Smith, goes right by him, missed the layup, dunks it down to say goodnight on the follow. 1:10 to go, the lead back to 11.
Tonight is one of the last times Duke men's basketball gets to experiment, John Shire. 2 more non-conference games, and I would describe them both of the cupcake variety. I'm not downgrading Duke, by the way. They played plenty of, meat and potatoes non-conference games.
Do love meat and potatoes.
The Kentucky, Arizona, Kansas, like they did their thing in the non-conference. But Auburn, who they beat, number 2 in the country. But now they get Incarnate Word tonight at home, 7 o'clock start, and George Mason in their next game. Then you go into the ACC schedule. Every game from that point on in the regular season is an Atlantic Coast Conference game. So the way I'm describing these 2 games is your last chance to experiment. We saw Isaiah Evans come into the Auburn game, a guy who was getting the old DNP CDs. If you don't know what that stands for, it's did not play coach's decision. He was getting DNP CDs. He's not hurt. He's just not playing in their big games. And then against Auburn, they start slow. They need a spark. John Shire turns to Isaiah Evans. He goes in, 6 threes in the first half. Roof blown off the place, right? Everybody's excited. Then he goes back to a very, very limited role in the next few games. I want to see him experiment with Isaiah Evans. right? Play him alongside Cooper Flagg and Con Knippel and see if they can coexist on the perimeter. Now's the time to do that because you don't want to be working a guy into the rotation or experimenting with new combinations of 5 players, lineups out there on the court when, it's a 2-point game against Clemson or something like that. I want Kamen Malawash to play more. Malawash is a fascinating one to me, and Dennis did bring up that he's a big wincer, right? So maybe there's some injury stuff he's dealing with that's keeping him from playing a full allotment. But he's a projected top 10 NBA pick. He is a true big, 7'2". He's shooting almost 80% from the field, 77% from the field. But he's 7th on the team in minutes, playing 17 roughly minutes per game. I want to see what he'd do with 28. I'm not saying play him, the entire game, but I do want to see what he would do with 28 minutes. And if you don't want to experiment that way, where if he gets exhausted, you might need him at the end of the game, and not have him because he's spent, try it against Incarnate Word. And then lastly, and this is like true experimenting. And I don't know if they'll do this because it might harm some stats for some guys that Duke wants to promote. But I would love it if against Incarnate Word or against George Mason, when you maybe have it in control, double-digit lead, if they played some significant minutes without both Tyrese Proctor and Cooper Flagg on the floor. Because it does seem, and by the way, why wouldn't you? But it does seem like Duke leans on those two guys a bunch to create for everybody. Sion James might be another one, but he's more of like a Tasmanian devil when he's creating. He's just let me mix this up a little bit. Con Knippel can, but I think he needs to really work on getting his 3-point shot back in rhythm. Flagg and Proctor are kind of the two that do a lot of the initiating the offense. I think Duke should experiment, see if other guys can make it happen. You hope you never have to use it, but you need a break glass in case of emergency option. Again, you hope it never happens, but you want to have a plan in case.
I'm curious to see what Isaiah Evans does in this game because we know he had that 18 points in the first half against Auburn. Second half, only had the 1 shot attempt. But
if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he's scored since, even in the games to follow.
In the follow-up game, that was my point, is in the follow-up game against Louisville, he's 0 for 2. He played 10 minutes, 0 for 2 from behind the arc, didn't score, didn't get to the free throw line. So it's like, all right, you had that hot moment. Can you be a consistent threat on a night in and night out basis? Not saying you got to score 18 every night, but can you be, okay, if we leave that guy open for a 3-pointer and he gets 6 attempts this game, he's going to make 3.
And I need to see you play with, Isaiah Evans, I do think that performance against Auburn is worth getting him, 4 or 5 chances to be to be a contributor. But you're going to need to fit into what's working. Duke is some of the advanced analytics really like Duke this year. They're up to 4th in the AP poll. You don't want to upheaval things to get Isaiah Evans more touches. So he does have to prove that he can fit in with what they're doing well, and then also be the spark that he was against Auburn. At his number 3, let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us. 48-47 pack, 9:39 to play. Taylor up top, brings the ball to the right. On the hop right elbow now, kicks it up top. Styles steps into a triple high arcer. Got it done, Trez Styles. Another 3, 51-47 pack.
Duke's not the only team playing a cupcake tonight. No disrespect to Coppin State. It's a non-conference group of 5 game that you're going to be favored heavily in. That's my definition of the cupcake. State playing State. NC State versus Coppin State. In a similar way, it's a tune-up game for NC State, but it's different in that I don't know if it's an experimenting game for Kevin Keatts and the Wolfpack. I think it's more of a dress rehearsal game for Kevin Keatts and the Wolfpack. The experimenting for State hopefully came in your first 5 cupcakes. You opened the season with 5 wins over 5 group of 5 opponents that you were heavily favored over. Then you played 4 power conference games, one of them an ACC game. By now, you should have an idea of what you want your roster to look like. You've seen them play with little resistance. You've seen them play with great resistance. You've seen them play in wins. You've seen them play in losses. You've seen the transfers get hot. You've seen some of the returning players get hot for a period of time. Now you know what you are. You get a couple more tune-ups here. right? As you look at the schedule, you get Coppin State and Rider with Kansas sandwiched between them. Use Coppin State as the dress rehearsal. And then Kansas, that's Kansas, by the way, like former number 1 overall team, number 10 overall at the moment, is next up on Saturday. Use Coppin State as the dress rehearsal. Use Kansas as the final test, because eventually you're going to have to hit conference play, and then everything's going to go. So what are the roles that I think is the dress rehearsal? I think lead scorer is going to be kind of a 2.5-headed monster. I really like what Marcus Hill's done. I like what Styles has done in the clutch moments over the last couple. And Jaden Taylor is still, I think he's a little streaky, but when he gets it going, get out of his way, let him cook. Those 3 guys, I think, are going to be your triumvirate of scorers, trio of scorers, if you will. Michael O'Connell, I think we know he's the floor leader. I think he can dial back his scoring a little bit and continue to be the setup man. Score when you have to, but you hear what I'm saying. Huntley Hatfield, Middlebrooks, you guys got the down low. As far as like making sure the rebounding numbers are where they need to be. Dennis Parker Jr., Trey Parker, maybe Breon Pass. Those are your guys off the bench. And you go from there. I like what they've got cooking, though. Now just fine-tune it and then see how it stacks up against Kansas. By the way, Kansas, I joke that UConn wants to be a member of the Triangle because UConn football and basketball often finds reasons to play Duke, State, UNC, Wake Forest, which, by the way, they're playing one of the Triangle members in a bowl game. It just seems to happen a lot. Kansas might be trying to audition to be a North Carolina basketball blue blood as well, like the state of. This year in their non-conference schedule, they played Duke, UNC, and NC State. Kansas is not playing around with they're trying to be one of us. I don't know if we're going to let them, but just saying they're trying. What was that, number 2? Let's get to number 1.
How much money does North Carolina or any school in the ACC legitimately have? Like, realistically, how much money can you afford to spend on a coach and his staff and any facilities upgrades you want to make? And then, oh, yeah, by the way, also pay the players who are going to make this grand vision come to reality.
That was Brendan Marks on this show earlier today of The Athletic, talking about the possibility of Bill Belichick and all of his demands being met by UNC to make him the next head coach of the Tar Heels. I want to emphasize Brendan Marks was emphatic that this deal is not imminent. It is still very much up in the air. Despite what some people are reporting, Brendan Marks of The Athletic was adamant that the conversations are ongoing and it is still a possibility, but it is not anywhere near a done deal. Do you know, this is the tough part, and you just heard it, right? Brendan was saying, how much money does UNC or any team in the ACC really have to spend on football? Here's the part that I think is the most difficult to predict. I remember, I'm old enough to remember, when Deion Sanders signed with Colorado. And I forget what the exact numbers were on his contract, but it was hefty. There's a lot of money there. And everybody looked at the Colorado budget and went like, where are you getting this money? And I vividly remember, and it's because it was one of those deals where I'm like, wow, that's kind of a bold, like it stuck out to me. The athletic director basically said, we're committing to paying him this money. We don't have the money yet, but we're pretty sure that he is going to bring a whole bunch of money to this program. We're pretty sure that the stadium is going to be filled because of Deion Sanders. And they started selling tickets to their spring game and stuff, and it was selling out. And all of a sudden there was more sponsorship interest. And part of like, all right, we agree to pay, let's say they paid Deion Sanders $10 million a year. I don't know what it was. I don't remember, but let's just say part of the idea was we're going to pay him $10 million a year. We'll commit to that. We have the $10 million for this year, and we expect to make $30 off of him for next year, and we'll take the $10 million out of that. You might not, in your budget for last season, have Bill Belichick money, but you can maybe, if you're comfortable, do some predicting that a Bill Belichick team will bring in more cash. I can't imagine that if you call up one of your big money boosters and say, we need a little bit more in order to get Belichick and a squad of NFL coaches and a squad of future NFL players on campus, that they're going to go, I don't know. I gave X amount of dollars for a Mac Brown team last year, and I was trying to cut that back by 40%. Like, I think it's probably going to be All right, let's see how this goes. Here's your cash. Then you have to make it worth it. Then, all right, Bill Belichick has to take his 400-page organizational Bible, as it's being called online, if it's truly in existence, and go, make good on the money. You don't have to have the money now. You have to have the money when it's due. That's one way to think about it. So
we're financing it.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, we'll pay you $5 million a year every year for X amount of years. I don't need $30 million now. I need $5 million a year over the next 6. Right? It's different there. What I will say is this: it doesn't appear as if the Bill Belichick potential hire for UNC has a lot of what is it during election season? Undecideds. It seems like everybody is either do it. What's the cost? Make it happen. Bill Belichick, you got to take that chance. Or that's terrible. That's a horrendous idea. He's never coached college. It's going to blow up in their face. Why would you do that?
Could do. He is a process-driven maniac. He would understand the difference. Could do. He is a process-driven maniac. He would understand the difference between a coaching staff and a recruiting NIL staff. And I think that part would be interesting to see those two run parallel. Because to your point, he doesn't got to sit in 18-year-old living rooms anymore, right? He's going to have other people who do. That's not the case for every college football coach. So if he's focused on the fundamentals of football and teaching guys how to get to the NFL, and he has another group, it'll be an interesting test case for college.
It will be an interesting test case. It will be an interesting test case. I do this with the Canes when we're talking about moves they might make or trades they might make. I do this with the Panthers when we're talking about draft and how they execute their roster. You do have to acknowledge your own preferences. I will say this. My personality is to innovate, right? If there is an opportunity to potentially be the first to do something and then everyone else will copy you, I get excited by that. I think that's an advantage you can have. If you're the first to set up a NFL-style program with an NFL coach and NFL assistants with the idea that NFL players, future NFL players, are going to want to play for you and that can be a recruiting deal, I'm excited by that. There might be those that are more traditional going, I don't know, if somebody else wants to take this big swing at renovating and innovating and upheaving the entire college system, let them do it. And if it works, then we'll be the second through the door. I get that as well. I think you take the chance. Because if it works, I mean, you could, steal a national championship while everyone else tries to catch up. Like, it could be that level of ceiling. And then once everybody catches up, it's a level playing field, and you got to fight your own battles. But I'm with it. I think you do what you have to do, as long as, and I guess this is the one disclaimer, as long as the financial requests and everything aren't truly out of this world.
Yeah, I need $17 million a year.
Yeah, as long as he's not with the Patriots, I got it done with, what was the cap? About $225 million a year. I think it was somewhere around there. I think I could put together a pretty good team. As long as it's not that.
Yeah, take that decimal and move it one spot to the left.
Yeah, if it's something that's within the realm of possibility, I think you got to do it. I think you got to take the chance. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the starting 5. It is now time for the numbers game. We need a couple of contestants, 2 of them to be exact. In order to compete on the numbers game, you have to call in 919-860-5326. The prize for today, Styx tickets with Kevin Cronin and Don Felder at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 9th. A pair of tickets will go to the winner of the numbers game. If you want to see Styx, if you want to win the numbers game, call in now. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
A walk-off touchdown for Jordan Moore! Do you believe it?
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I call games in Seattle and around the country, but I still spend a lot of time right here in the Triangle. When I'm here to see my family around the holidays, we always head to Buffalo Brothers. It's my go-to spot for stocking stuffers. Now through December 24th, buy a $40 gift card for someone special and get a $10 gift card for you. Now that's a deal, baby. Visit any of their 5 locations at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Santa's busy. You are too. The day is almost here. Let Soundstation and Security get you one step closer to the big day. Did you know that Soundstation and Security can install a backup camera on your car? Maybe you want to install it this year as a gift for your teenage driver. Soundstation and Security has a lifetime warranty on all parts and installation. And if you can't decide what to get, gift certificates are available too. Soundstation and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Are you feeling the spirit of the holiday, sir?
We love the holidays, Adam, and we are feeling the spirit. It's been a great year. Just want to thank everybody out there, our listeners, our homeowners, our employees, everyone involved that makes the Aluminum Company great. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Or do you get the sense that people ask for like green or red siding during this time of the year?
We have not gotten a request for green or red siding, but that is something we can always try and accommodate. We're here to help our homeowners with any concern they want to do.
You can do green or red metal roofing.
We can. Yes, we can.
Do they ever stripe it like green and then red and then green and then red?
We have not had that request yet, Adam, but we're here to accommodate any homeowner request.
Sometimes you just really feel the spirit of the holiday.
And we can accommodate.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you very much for all you do for us, for sponsoring my hockey podcast.
Happy holidays.
Appreciate that. AluminumCompany.com.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence, drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. That's right. Now's your last chance to trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and we've got the NBA on our minds. And FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from who will win the game to how many points a player will score. We got parlays, we got totals, we have everything, player props as well. Plus, you can check out newer bets, number of dunks, assists, 3-pointers in the next 3 minutes. My gosh, we're getting specific, aren't we? It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it's already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever, and now's the perfect time to do it. New customers, bet $5, win that bet, get $150 in bonus bets. How about that? FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, tickets to see Styx, along with a few others, at Coastal Credit Union Music Park, coming up this May. Either one of our 2 contestants can win. They are on the line, John in Apex and Jeff in Wilson. As always, we have to ask a question to see who goes first. We pick our favorite answer. That person gets to lead off. We'll start with John in Apex. John, in honor of the maybe outside-the-box thinking of Bill Belichick potentially coaching in college, let's go further outside the box. Name a coach that does not coach football, coaches a different sport that you would like to see give a run at college football.
Coach a different sport?
Could be
I'd go
any
Rod
other sport.
Brindamore, man.
Rod Brindamore.
Rod Brindamore.
Solid answer. That's we might have to do that in the summer when there's not as much going on. What kind of football offense would Rod Brindamore run as a head football coach? We could have some fun with that. So, John, Ron Brindamore, your answer is locked in. We'll see what Jeff says. Jeff and Wilson, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The same question to you. If you had to pick a non-football coach to coach a college football team, you're thinking way outside the box here. Who are you picking?
Well, we need championships, so let's go with Anson Dorrance.
Anson Dorrance.
Women's soccer.
All right. That is two local options. I thought Rod Brindamore was going to be as local as you could get, and you went even more local.
He stole Rod from me.
Dennis, which one are you going with? You're our judge, as always.
Rod.
Yeah.
Rod Brindamore. That's a pretty easy one, I would say.
Gut reaction, the question I asked, what kind of offense does he run?
That's a really good question. I honestly think that he would probably run.
I think it's probably West Coast. Something quick.
Precision. Yeah. I don't know, but he's a grinding style offense.
His wide receivers would all be the size of like A.J. Brown. Like you'd have to be a tight end that runs fast.
I don't know. He would definitely he'd be a man-to-man defense guy.
There'd be a full.
Let's call that what it is.
Cover zero all day. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We have, as we said, John and Apex and Jeff and Wilson on the line, ready to play. And John gets to go first by way of our opening question. John, are you there?
I'm here. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you're a little bit out of luck here because we forgot to refresh the category. So instead of having 4 options, you have 2 options today. The options are NFL players born in 1999 or NBA, Charlotte Hornets, and Bobcats of the last 20 years.
Wow. Both those are going to be tough for me.
Yeah, with Rod Brindamore being your pick, I assumed you wanted NHL Hurricanes only. However,
that's what I was going for, man.
You know, Rod would tell you to control what you can control and move forward anyway.
I'll go NFL because I'm not sure I know the Hornets that well. I should. I don't.
All right. NFL players born in 1999 is the category. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I got it. Thank you, man.
All right, cool. Your time starts when you hear the horn. Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers.
19.
Incorrect. Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts.
26.
Incorrect. Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers.
8.
Incorrect. Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts.
25.
Incorrect. Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers.
Shoot, pass.
Nico Collins, Houston Texans.
12.
Correct. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
14.
Incorrect.
Bang.
You were in the right neighborhood for a bunch of them, and you just came up a little short. Brock Purdy with the Niners is.
That was my fantasy team.
That's funny. Brock Purdy with the Niners, number 13 or 14. He's worn them both. JT, Jonathan Taylor with the Colts, number 28. I thought you were going to get it, but you didn't. You got Nico Collins with 12, and you got and then you missed Tutu Atwell. We would have accepted 5 or 15. You did get 1, which without being able to really pick the category, it's something to consider. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up.
Thanks, man.
That brings us to Jeff and Wilson. Jeff, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Unfortunately, you don't have a category to choose. You get NBA players, Charlotte Hornets, and Bobcats of the last 20 years.
Heard.
All right. Your time will you have 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it. I will say that the team, along with the player here, because you got to keep it fair with the other category timing-wise. And that's kind of how it stands. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, cool. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets.
40.
Incorrect. LaMelo Ball, Charlotte Hornets.
1.
Correct. Kemba Walker, Charlotte Hornets.
4.
Incorrect. Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets.
Pass.
Gerald Wallace, Charlotte Bobcats.
33.
Incorrect. Kemba Walker, Charlotte Hornets.
5.
Incorrect. Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets.
6.
Incorrect. Gerald Wallace, Charlotte Bobcats.
45.
Incorrect. You gave it a good try. LaMelo Ball you got with 1. Brandon Miller, one of their studs now, number 24. Kemba Walker, 15 during his time with the Hornets. And Gerald Wallace back with the Bobcats, number 3. Those were the answers we were looking for. Unfortunately, a tie goes to who goes first, so you didn't win, but hopefully you had some fun.
0 for 3 now.
Hey, try, and try again. That's my advice there. Appreciate it, though, and go ahead and try again. Serious recommendation there. That means the winner. John didn't seem confident when he didn't get to pick the NHL, but he won anyway. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
The winner, you can thank your fantasy team, I guess, would be the way to do that.
I appreciate that.
And
yes,
Nico
sir.
Collins is a good one to have on your fantasy team this year. So congrats on that. Congrats on the good fantasy pick. And stay on the line to make sure you get your tickets to see Styx. You have to give some info to Dennis.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for listening. That is not our best executed numbers game there, but I like contestants that don't let what is out of their control throw them off. They just stayed the course. Neither went over, which is really all you're trying to avoid. You don't want to get shut out. So thank you to those contestants for putting up with our mistake there. Tomorrow we will do it again. There will be more Styx tickets to give away, and there will be. We promise we will fill out the proper forms here. So we'll have the numbers game for you tomorrow about this time. So if you didn't win, try, and try again. By the way, just a little update here on the transfer portal. Pete Nakos of 247 Sports, or Nakos, if I'm mispronouncing that, On 3 Sports, not 247 Sports, of On 3, reported earlier this afternoon that Duke quarterback Grayson Loftus plans to enter the transfer portal. You will remember him from not this past season, the year before, when Duke got hit with some quarterback injuries. Riley Leonard was out. Henry Beelan, their backup, was out. Grayson Loftus came in and performed admirably in a really, really tough spot as what I believe he was a true freshman at the time. Performed, like I said, very, very admirably. Was in for that Duke game, or NC State Duke game, which he threw a long touchdown, ended up being the difference. So he is entering the transfer portal. Here's the craziest part about Grayson Loftus entering the portal. Here's the part that kind of blows my mind, and it's just one of those things we have to get used to. Pete Nakos of On 3 Sports reported it. In the tweet, it says this: Duke quarterback Grayson Loftus plans to enter the transfer portal. There you go. The source, his agent, Shane Burnham, at Shane Burnham 52, tells On 3 Sports.
Okay.
This is no disrespect to Duke. This is no disrespect to he is the third string quarterback at Duke, and he has an agent.
That's how it works.
That is crazy.
Kind of weird.
Good for him. I mean, obviously, if you have an agent, that means agents got to get paid somehow. They're taking a percentage of something, so you're making some kind of money. Congratulations on that. But I don't know. I just wasn't expecting that. I was expecting hey, Grayson has notified us. Nope, agent. There was one point in time in this business I didn't know if I should get an agent or not, and I reached out to somebody that I knew in the business, like, hey, am I at the point where I should get an agent? And they let me know the percentage that agents take, and I went, nope, not at that point yet. Not at that point yet. Unless they're going to make me a whole bunch more money. Not at that point yet. Still not. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk Canes. Let's talk Canes versus Sharks tonight. Coming up next.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites, like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. The Fed has dropped rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low 5s for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6% or you are in process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock in a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000. Lower rates and lower fees. Get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Loan Pronto, call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The holidays are happening at Diamonds Direct. Still rushing to finish your holiday shopping? Don't worry, we've got you covered. This weekend only, it's our last chance sale with 20% off virtually everything. Earrings, bracelets, pendants, and more. Plus special financing options up to 5 years. But don't wait, this is your final opportunity to find the perfect gift at the best value before the holidays. Plus special designer appearances. Visit us during extended holiday hours or shop online and pick up in store. Our 20% off last chance sale ends Sunday. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Now Chatfield with it. Orloff. A lot of traffic in front. They score! Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi picks up the loose change and puts Carolina up 1-0.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump fully into Canes talk ahead of their game tonight against the Sharks, don't forget, on Monday, 99.9 The Fan will unveil our new December station tradition, the 5 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's. We are celebrating our connection with our hometown hockey team during the holidays by giving you free stuff all week long. Listen for the 5 days of Canesmas. Maybe by Monday I'll be able to say it without stumbling. It's all presented by Hardee's, where their famous cinnamon raisin biscuits are back for a limited time and served all day, all season long. Unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Bit of news here for you. I'm not going to – do not fire the breaking news. Do not do it. Maalik Brown is out tonight for Duke versus Incarnate Word due to a toe injury.
Oh, no.
His status is day-to-day, according to the official Duke men's basketball Twitter.
Okay.
So I gave him a bunch of praise earlier today for his defensive effort. He is out with a toe injury against Incarnate Word.
My gut tells me it's one of those situations where, like, if he needed to play, he could, but it's like, hey, we'll be fine.
You're saying if it were a game being played maybe in Chapel Hill, he would find a way to tape them together.
Toes good.
Do you do that with toes?
Toes good. I mean, you have to.
Is it like fingers? Tape it together and stop whining. So anyway, Maalik Brown is out. Now let's talk Canes. The Canes are playing an unfamiliar, right, West Coast, overmatched opponent at home after a tough loss. I'm going to quickly here run through kind of what I do for every West Coast team because we don't see them as much. You don't know them as much. You're not familiar with them. They are second worst in the Pacific Division. They are fourth worst in the Western Conference and fourth worst in the NHL if you're just looking at points and standings. They are 24th in goals scored per game. They are 28th in most goals allowed per game. They are 23rd in power play percentage. They are 11th in penalty kill percentage. They're not a top-end opponent. Weird kind of statistical quirk. They have allowed the most shots on goal of any team in the NHL this season. So even though they're not giving up the most goals, they make you think you're getting good looks. You're willing to fire away when you're playing against the San Jose Sharks.
Which fits Carolina because they shoot the puck a ton.
So I would take shots on goal overs. You know you love those.
You know I do.
Take the shots on goal overs for the Carolina Hurricanes. We were talking about this earlier, Dennis, so I'm going to set it up and kind of move out of the way and let you explain. Mm-hmm. Canes are on a 4 out of 5 game losing skid. Last year, they had some losing skids early on that they corrected and obviously had a strong stretch down the home stretch. You see these two teams as kind of different with how they're dealing with their skids, and now I'll get out of the way and let you explain.
So, yeah, last year, we heard a lot after 27 games. The Canes were just 14-12-1.
Mm-hmm.
A 500 hockey team, which is
They were better than that, and their record said they were that.
They were
shouldn't
that.
have been okay with that.
We heard a lot of, we need everyone to buy in. Everyone's got to buy in. Everyone has to be committed. Everyone has to be fully committed. Everyone's got to be all in. You heard those words a lot over a long stretch of games. And then remember in Western Canada, or just really throughout Canada, a 4-game trip, they stunk. And I think if I remember correctly, it was either after Winnipeg or it was after Vancouver. They had that players-only meeting. And guys were like, hey, we either we're all in or you need to, like, find a way to get out of here, basically. Kind of one of those all-in, type meetings, players only. We haven't had that conversation yet with this team. It's all about, hey, we just got to correct mistakes. We just got to, whether they're mental errors or physical errors, you just got to find a way to correct mistakes. It's not we got to have everyone bought in on a night in and night out basis. We're not having those conversations like we were having last year. So, yeah, a little bit of a sputter that's going on right now where you are 500 roughly over your last 10 games. It's not because of the lack of buy-in. It's just, okay, maybe the puck isn't going in as much, or you didn't get a couple bounces, or you're out of position because you're trying to do too much, not because you weren't bought in like we heard a lot last year.
I'm
at least at this point last year.
Here's my only response to – I agree with everything you just said, by the way. My only concern is sometimes you need, like, the big wrong thing to just make you fix it, right? It's kind of like right now for the Canes, the check engine light's on. And they're just driving through it, right? Just like, you know what?
That's just a sensor that needs to be replaced.
I'll do it on Saturday, and then it's Saturday, and you're I'll do it next weekend. You just keep driving on it. Meanwhile, last year, you could argue that, like, there was smoke coming out of the hood. Mm-hmm. So they're like, we got to fix this now. And they got their tools, and they went out and fixed it. If it doesn't reach the smoking point, if it's just like, it's a few little things we got to fix. We just got to do this better. So-and-so just got to pick it up. And you don't fix it, then it's going to drag on much longer. I just want to make sure if there is something there, you don't let it bubble and bubble and bubble until it bursts, because then you have a much bigger problem. And I could have used a million other analogies there, right? That's weird, a little drip, and then all of a sudden your whole house comes down with a leak. Like, you got to fix it, right? And the one thing they did last year was, it was the middle of a road trip. It wasn't like, hey, when we get home, everybody sleep in your own bed and then come in the next day when we have an off day and we'll have a team meeting. It was like the plane lands, like let's get together and fix it right now. And it ended up working, right? And it was dramatic. Like you could look at last year's Kane season as before team meeting and after team meeting, and they were different beasts. So if there is something going on now, I don't know if there is, right? Sometimes you take your car in with the check engine light and the
gas cap loose.
Yeah, the mechanic's like, I don't know. We turned the car and we drove it around. We couldn't get it to turn the check engine light back on. If it turns back on, bring it back to us. And you drive it home and it's off. And it's just like, they did nothing. Sometimes it's you just got to drive it out. Sometimes it's, oh, I'm glad you brought it in when you did, right? If you would have waited a few more days, you would have been looking at $7,000. But instead, we were able to like, just make sure if there is something to do, you do it. Don't go like, actually, we're all in a good place. We all get along. There's, everybody's bought in. So, it'll fix itself, because sometimes that gets into a dangerous place. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and no better night to fix it than tonight against the Sharks. Tim Donnelly here, by the way, for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and also their Omega showroom, their Fox and Bailey watch shop, their Blanc Pond display. I'm a big watch fan. All right? I'm a big watch guy, self-described, self-admitted. But many of us out there are also the type of people that have no idea what to get our special someone for the holiday season. Bailey's wants to help with that as well. So go into their Bailey's Village District location in Raleigh. You can take your time checking out the cool watches, the Seamasters, the Speedmasters, the famous iconic watches, but also drift on into the main showroom, check out some of their Christmas classics, diamond staples that everyone should have in their wardrobe, the holiday hoops with fun, fashionable earring styles for all styles and budgets, right? They have the experts there that can help walk you through making sure you get the perfect gift for the special someone in your life. And then make sure you hint to that special someone about the things you want also from Bailey's, just in the watch section. They have top gifts under $1,000. They have gifts for him, cheerful color, meaning precious and semi-precious colored gemstones. There's a whole deal there, gift guide. Be sure to check it out. And when you're at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, let them know you heard about it here from me on 99.9 The Fan. It's about going to do it for us here on The Drive. It was a fun, action-packed show. Coming up in Overdrive are two interviews from today replayed. Casey Morsell, former NC State point guard, and Brendan Marks from The Athletic, talking about the UNC coaching situation. I encourage you to check them out if you missed them earlier, and I encourage you to be back right here on 99.9 The Fan for the show tomorrow at 3. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm not saying Pyotr Kochetkov can't be the goaltender, but for the next 2.5 to 3 months, your tandem needs to be better than Kochetkov and Spencer Martin. Until Frederik Andersen comes back, to rely on those two goalies to get you through the next 40 games, man, that is a recipe I don't want to taste. Get me a backup goalie for Kochetkov.
The Adam Gold Show, weekday starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Welcome to the North Carolina